Those are the words teams and fans have waited 24 hours to hear. There's rain in the horizon, but we're ready to race here in Atlanta in the Golden Corral 500. Presented on Fox by DLP HDTV from Texas Instruments. It is chilly here in Atlanta, 53 degrees. Track temperature just about the same. They started the jet dryers at dawn to have a raceable track for the hardy fans, the 43 drivers and crews who are now ready to race in what we wish was hot Atlanta. Last year, he's ready to go, as are 42 drivers who are ready to race. Bill Lester has had to wait 24 hours for his hard-earned dream to come true. The ex-road racer has been 7 years in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series with 6 top 10s. And today, he starts his first Nextel Cup race, the first African-American driver in 20 years to race on NASCAR's senior circuit. It was 1986 when Willie T. Ribbs broke into what is now Nextel Cup. So Bill Lester will become the 6th such driver to race. That'll happen today. Jimmy Johnson chasing history. Matt Yoakum is on pit road.
Mike, Jimmy Johnson is a tremendous start to the season, winning 2 of the first 3 races, the 19th different time that's happened. Now, he has a lot of work to do if he wants to beat Bill Elliott's record mark back in 1992 when he won 4 of the first 5 races. Now, this is the final race without his crew chief Chad Knaus present. Knaus will be back at Bristol. They're hoping to expand on what this team has done this year, hoping to build on the chemistry not only with what Darian Grubb has done, but with what Knaus has learned, and he's learned as well. But one thing about this team, you know, last year you've seen the highlights so many times of how Jimmy Johnson narrowly missed the win. Well, while he and his crew were on the grid, the big Nextel vision screen behind, they showed the final couple of laps. And not that they needed to be reminded of what happened here last year, but they got one more shot at it. They hope to rebound and go to victory lane here today. He has a great car, very pleased with how it qualified and how it was in practice. To Steve Burns.
Thank you, Matt. We just saw that fantastic Atlanta finish for Carl Edwards against Jimmy Johnson. You see his record here. It is spectacular. 3 starts and 2 wins. Now, his second win here in October, just to punctuate that first win, Carl Edwards led over 100 laps in October. Now, I talked to him earlier today. He said that his car was very fast in happy hour, but he's going to be conservative early on because this racetrack is green. He said the first 50 laps or so, I'm going to take it easy. The last race we won, we weren't fast until 80 laps to go. So he's using history to hope to repeat for a 3rd straight win here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. To the editor of Speedway Illustrated magazine, Dick Berggren.
Well, in addition to the usual fun stuff we have to keep an eye on in these Nextel Cup races, got a couple extra added attractions in today's event. One of them, tires. Goodyear came here earlier, tested 2 cars 2 days, thought everything was just fine, but in the Busch race on Saturday, there were tire problems. A couple of them let go, tore the whole right side off the cars where those tires did let go. Same tires on these cars today. Add the fact that the rain washed the racetrack down. As Steve Burns mentioned, we have a green track. That's a lot tougher on tires. And there is also the weather factor. Are we going to go all 500 miles, or is the weather going to move in sooner than that? Distance of the race always plays a role in race strategy for both driver and crew chief. So we're going to have some fun today. We're glad you're with us. Mike?
Thanks, Dick. Fellas, stay warm down there. The other day, Darrell Waltrip and Jeff Hammond took a ride to show you the multi-groove racetrack here at Atlanta. Here's our AutoZone Driver Zone with the Richard Petty Driving Experience car.
We know how exciting Atlanta can be. So we're going to try to show you what a driver is really dealing with here in Atlanta. Now, when I go to the bottom of the racetrack like I am right now, look at all the wheels I've got to have in my car. I'm coming off the corner, and I need the whole racetrack. And I'm running out of room. I'm bound down on the bottom, and I can't get up enough momentum to make the pass. And the car on the outside beats me down into turn 1. Now, this time, we're going to set up a little bit differently. I'm going to take him on the outside this time. And this is how you do it. You come off the corner, you get a little run on you, then you come down the back, you want to watch him, you're You're looking, you want him to think, I'm going inside, but you don't. You sail it in on the outside.
And when you're on the outside, it's a great finish. It's just like this.
And here they come, and I think Cole's got the advantage. He wins it. Cole's ready.
Getting ready to race here in Atlanta. Let's have a look at the starting lineup for today's event. Dodges fill the front row. Casey Kane on point, beat Ryan Newman by just a couple of
Thousands.
Yeah, just two. That's all it took. Hi, everybody. Mike Joy, Larry McReynolds, Darrell Waltrip with you once again as we get ready to race on a very chilly Monday. So, Darrell, you've had a day to think about it, a day to ponder it, a day to wait on it, cancel all your Monday commitments. What are you thinking?
Well, drivers are creatures of habit. They have this routine. They got these rituals they go through the night before the race. And Monday is not part of that ritual. And so you got to really work hard. The old crew chief does. All right, guys, it's Monday. It's cloudy. It's always cool. I know you got other things you like to be doing, but we got to go out and try to win us a race.
You only had to wait 1 day. I've been having to wait 2 days because the last time these cars were on the track wasn't 1 day ago, 2 days ago in Saturday morning's practice. And the thing about it, since NASCAR put all 43 of these cars through inspection, they treated it like a miniature impound. The only thing these teams could adjust is tape on the grill and air pressure. So trust me, a lot of anticipation on top of those pit boxes for those first few laps where the driver will go, it's okay, or it's
Help! Spiegel buggies.
To the rear, Brent Sherman, who is in a backup car, and Brian Vickers, who lost an engine.
Junebug riding along there with him.
As we cycle through our NASCAR on Fox onboard cameras. Pretty happy for all that triple air Nomex today and gloves and
yeah, it's comfy.
Snowmobile suit might be nice.
A little heat off the engine today. Feel pretty darn good.
But that wouldn't be flame proof, so we won't recommend it.
Big field of cars showed up here for this race. 52 cars. So we had 9 cars that did not make this show. Now each week we're going to talk about the FedEx racetracks. And you see right there, 325 laps, 500 miles, pit road speed. Very narrow pit road, 45 miles per hour. Pit window for fuel, 55 to 60 laps. Now, tires, beware of the right rear tire. You heard Steve Burns, Dick Berger talk about the track being green, no rubber. This is what happened in the Busch race on Saturday. Kyle Busch in the 5 car. We think it was going flat. The right rear just exploded down in the middle of turn 3 and 4. Pretty much all but destroyed that race car. But Ryan Newman also, he didn't have a tire going down. Boom, on the front straightaway. Look at how much damage it did to that right rear quarter panel of that car. Now, green racetrack adjustments. We talked about it. No adjustments can be made. Also, don't beat yourself in the pits. DW, it's Monday. Pull those belts tight.
Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing on Monday, boys. Jeff Burton's car, guys, it must be really loose. He took a real slide down into turn 1 on the start, and he is backing up quickly through the field right now.
All but a dead heat for the lead. And Kane led that lap. Newman is not going to give it up.
Well, this is one of those days when you can say they definitely don't know what they got because the track conditions are totally different. It's rain. It's washed all the rubber off. You don't know what you got here for a lap or two.
Here's the saving grace, though. Since the racetrack is green, we had the problems with right rears. NASCAR's going to throw a caution at lap 30 where everyone can kind of look at their cars, look at their tires, and make adjustments.
Newman to the front. He has now led all 9 of his starts at Atlanta Motor Speedway, most of them from the pole.
How about that 43 car there, Bobby Labonte? He just drove to the inside of Casey Kane in the 9 car, takes the 2nd position away.
And I tell you something else about that 43 car. He's not hurting for power. Look at, where's Bill Lester here? Here he is.
He's not bashful. The 23 car 3 wide going off into turn 3.
Battling Elliott Sadler in the 38.
And Bill Lester pretty much made the comment, 2 goals today. Run all 500 miles and earn the respect of these other drivers that he's going to have to race against a few more races this year.
Yeah, and it's going to be a hard job for Bill because he doesn't have the experience in these cars to kind of know what to tell the crew to do to it if it needs something. But this cat right here in that 43 car, he knows what to do. You go to the outside and you take the lead.
Darrell, it's just like you showed in your AutoZone drive there in the pre-race. He just drove to the outside. The 43 car takes the lead, and these fans love it.
I guess. When's the last time you saw that 43 car zoom out front like that?
The last time Richard Petty's Dodge won at Atlanta. 1977. Richard was the driver. 43 was the number. The car was a Dodge.
I can tell you one thing right now, that dude is hooked up. He is at a 30-0. Everybody else is in the 30-30s.
Well, this is his house. 6 wins here. How many seconds for Bobby Labonte? This is his house. Greg Biffle on the move, working underneath Kevin Harvick for 3rd place.
And you know, the interesting thing about those 2 Dodges that are out front right now, Bobby Labonte in the 43, Ryan Newman the 12, we've been talking about it all year long. We call it the science project going on by the Dodge teams. Those 2 cars, they are Intrepids. All the other Dodges are the new Charger.
Yeah, one of the things that they're trying to do is get a good race car. They got a good qualifying car. They need a good race car where they can run good all day long.
25th place, Kenseth, Dale Jr., Bill Lester battle.
I mean, look at there. We're 6 laps into this race. We've already got 3-4 grooves of racing. You run at the bottom and you run at the top. That's what makes this such a great racetrack.
Michael Waltrip, 55, the Napa Dodge, chasing his former teammate on the low side.
And I think Bill's just got to get in a place where he's comfortable. All these cars around him, he doesn't want to make a mistake. If he ends up at the back of the pack riding along, keeping up with everybody, that's going to be just fine.
Robbie Gordon, just ahead of this group, is really sailing. He has gained 13 spots since the start of this race. Number 7.
I'll tell you, that team has been so solid. I think the reason you see him starting at the back of the pack is, remember, he's not in the top 35 in owner points from last year. He just has to go out and get that conservative qualifying lap, but it's obviously they get it together on race day.
Kevin LePage, 61, works the bottom on Mayfield with Gordon trying to close.
Tell you what, we got a little battle for 2nd place here. Greg Biffle in the 16 car. He has really been reeling in. Ryan Newman in that 12.
Yeah, and up ahead of them, Bobby Labonte says bye-bye.
Boy, Bobby's car is working right on the bottom of the racetrack. It is shooting off the corner, which tells me he can get back wide open in the throttle. He's got a really nice neutral car right now.
Tell you what, right behind these guys, Casey Kane in the 9, he just went by him about 2 laps ago, but Kevin Harvick in the 29 car, I think he's looking for that caution at lap 30 because he just lost 3 more positions.
Now, you know, always being the optimist that I am, if my car was this good under the conditions we're on right now, I'd be a little bit worried, because the track is going to go through some pretty drastic changes. So Bobby's got to be thinking about what he wants to do to that car to keep up with this racetrack.
And NASCAR has indicated that at lap 30 they will throw a competition caution for teams to check tire wear on this green racetrack because of the weather situation we've had this weekend. Let's go to the leaders pit. Here's Matt.
And Mike Todd Parrott keeping Bobby Labonte abreast of where the competition's running on the racetrack via their spotter. They feel like that Bobby is getting beat a little bit as you see Ryan Newman and Casey Kane move up higher off turn 2. They feel like that's the only place right now that they're giving a little bit away to the competition.
Hey, Matt, what about the 31 car? Because, man, he started up there in 3rd position. Or Steve, I'm sorry. And he's backing up.
Yeah, DW, he's gone from 3rd back to 10th. He said that the car is not turning well in the middle, and he's also loose on exit.
Thank you, Matt. I knew something was wrong because, I mean, he took a big slide on the very first lap, and he has not recovered from it yet.
See, right now, his teammate Clint Boyer in the 07 car started back in the 16th position, going to drive to the outside. And right behind this group there, as they run side by side, you see our points leader, Jimmy Johnson, in the 48 car coming to the front. Not to mention the man that won everything here last year except the truck race. The only reason he didn't win it last year, didn't compete in it, Carl Edwards in the 99.
8th place. Jeff Gordon, Kevin Harvick, dual side by side. They've both seen success here at Atlanta, but it's very early. We're just 13 laps in as this battle takes place, 4.3 seconds behind the leader.
They've seen it up close and personal here in
Right.
Atlanta.
Bobby's house, Bobby Labonte, Cup champion, 6-time Atlanta winner, trying to take the King's Chariot to victory lane. Well, it's early yet.
Hey, this is Jeff Burton of the Singular 31 Chevy. Stay tuned for details on how to play the Singular Virtual Crew Chief during today's race. Watch for your chance to win my payday at the race in Daytona Beach on July 1st.
Turn 3, guys.
Ryan Newman.
He got a poke from somebody. I was looking up there. Somebody poked him in the rear, I think.
And he was definitely starting to go backwards with that 12 car.
But I don't believe, if he hit the wall, it wasn't fine.
No, I don't think he ever hit anything. He did a really good job of hanging on to it, but I think he may have got a little help back here from somebody.
It's J.J. Yaley in the 18 car to the bottom.
Oh, yeah, the 11 car slides up and gets into him ever so slightly. Ryan does a good job of hanging on to it, keeps it off the wall. I don't think he ever touched it.
It doesn't take much of a touch at over 180 miles per hour.
And particularly if your car's a little bit loose on top of that.
And Darrell, as he spins down to the bottom, well, here's the first contact, but as he spins down, I like what I see from the rest of the field. Everybody got out of the throttle, or this would have been a big pileup.
I think what happened when Yaley in the 18 got on the quarter panel, not against it, but on the quarter panel of his teammate Denny Hamlin, it got Hamlin loose. He walked up the racetrack, got into the 12 car, Ryan Newman.
Steve?
Yeah, flat left rear tire for Ryan Newman. We just saw his dad carried to the back of the pit box. Flat left rear tire for the 12.
Let's watch from Denny Hamlin.
That's what Denny saw.
All happens in a blink of an eye.
Of course, I got a feeling he's got more than just a flat left rear after that slide there. See all 4 tires are pretty much flat.
I'll tell you what, ever since Ryan Newman finished 3rd in the Daytona 500, it has been a rough road for this 12 team.
He's in 43rd position, running there behind Hermie Sadler as the pits will open to all comers. Matt?
Mike, Doug Richard reminded their spotter Joel Edmonds to keep an eye when Biffle gets ready to exit, because we saw Saturday's Busch race, a lot of issues on pit road. The Biff slides to a stop. Look for a wedge adjustment. The car a little tight on exit, but other than that, not too bad. To Steve Burns.
Well, Matty, Bobby Labonte told crew chief Todd Parrott that his car was a little bit tight in the center of the corners and a little bit loose on exit, giving up grip. Let's go to Nick Berggren.
And Casey Kane is in the pits. They are going to try to tighten the car up. The wedge wrench in both sides of the rear of that race car. He says he thinks the right rear has gone away a bit on him. Kane all done with his pit stop, and he's quick on it.
Look at this log jam trying to exit the pits. Denny Hamlin came down pit road in the grass.
But just remember, we talked about a very narrow pit road is not start beating and banging, because we had 42 of our 43 cars on pit road right there. And you can see right there, Casey Kane in the 9, as well as Greg Biffle in the 16. That is the time on pit road, including the pit stop right there, 39.11, 39.72.
Because you had all the cars in a single file, you had cars coming on the pit road as other cars were trying to leave their pit box.
I like that pit selection, though. All they have to do is move just a little bit, and they win the battle off pit road.
Just restarted, and let's show you how the number 2 of Kurt Busch got a great jump on the restart and moves to the outside of Bobby Labonte for 3rd.
And what he did there was perfectly legal. The green flag was displayed. He moved to the outside, which you can do. But, buddy, the guy that got another good restart was Greg Biffle in that 16 car. Just drove right by Casey Kane. And look at the lead he has just 2 laps after the restart.
But Kurt Busch in that Miller Lite Dodge is coming. Now he's got Bobby Labonte on his flank. Labonte trying to get back to the lead.
I tell you one thing, that 43 has got some steam up on the hood today, baby.
He didn't really get a great restart, but it didn't take him long to recover because now he's back up in the second place here just 3 to 4 laps after that restart.
Things liking this cool air.
Dodge Chargers. Bobby Labonte second, Kurt Busch third, Casey Kane fourth. Richard Petty's last win at Atlanta Motor Speedway came in a Dodge here 29 years ago. Tony Stewart, our defending Nextel Cup champ, had some difficulties coming up to that pit stop. He is now running in 16th. What's up, Matt?
Hey, Darrell, Atlanta, one of the fastest racetracks on the circuit. Is this a place where you would want a one-hand drive?
Oh, no. No, I'd want both hands and my elbows.
Well, Tony Stewart was multitasking because twice on that first run, his window net fell down. So he was driving with one hand, holding it up with the other, and trying to relatch it. He also had an issue on pit road, locked in just for a few seconds due to the 40 coming in as Stewart tried to exit. The car was a little tight, but they fixed the window net, and he's just outside that top 15.
Yeah, I was going to say they've recovered nicely because he's up there just about, well, no longer battling Jeff Gordon in the 24. He's up to the 14th position.
That could have been disastrous. I mean, you had to come in and make a green flag stop to put the window net back in. That could have ruined your day right there. Good job, Tony.
Yeah, if it had stayed down, he would have been black flagged. And those nets are stretched so tightly now for aerodynamic reasons, it's impossible for the driver to reconnect it himself.
Oh, yeah, they have to be really, really tight, and you got to have help to get it hooked back up. So good job of holding it in there until he can make a pit stop.
Look at that 20 car, though, Tony Stewart. This is where we would anticipate. We talked about the multiple grooves here, but he's always pretty much on the bottom, right around that white line.
I saw him practicing the other day. Now, conditions were totally different. He was running high in 1 and 2 and then sweeping low in 3 and 4. That may be something he'll end up doing later on in the run.
Tell you what, that 17 car, Matt Kenseth, he's made a nice run here, starting back in the 27th position. He's working on Jeff Gordon in the 24, trying to get to the top 15. But regardless of where he qualified on Friday night, we anticipated he'd be right up there.
Second place, Kurt Busch back to the inside of Bobby Labonte.
There's that multi-groove, one low, one high. If you can get back to the gas like Kurt Busch did right there and hold it wide open off the corner, and the guy on the outside will give you a little bit of room, you can make that pass. But that guy on the outside can hold you up for a long time.
And Darrell, I can't help but think this is a Dodge Charger that Kurt Busch and Roy McCauley has brought here with the 2 car. The first time they've run the Charger this year, with the exception of Daytona. Remember, they talked about Kurt Busch doing the tire test here in January. I've got to believe track conditions are more like it was when they did that tire test.
Robbie Gordon had a good pit stop. He is 18th, just ahead of Joe Nemechek, and trying still to move toward the front. He came out of the pits 22nd, passed Nemechek 1 lap ago.
I think Robbie Gordon's a perfect example of you don't just start a team from scratch and get up there and compete with the big boys overnight. It takes time. You have to build equipment. You have to get an engine program. You got to get people in place. That's a huge task. He's a great, I think Robbie is a great organizer, and he's put together a good team now.
And what's good, his sponsors were patient. They were willing to pay the price in year 1, like the Harris sponsorship, to stay with him knowing that there was light at the end of the tunnel.
He's such an enthusiastic guy. You got to kind of hang with him, you know.
We haven't had anybody that can drive a car as sideways as Robbie Gordon since Tim Richmond.
Best car control of anybody out there.
Carl Edwards, last year's winner, on the march, chasing J.J. Yaley. Now, we talked about all of Bobby Labonte's success here. Don't overlook the Gibbs cars. Hamlin is in 4th. There's Yaley in 5th, about to surrender the spot to Edwards, but well positioned. So our first virtual crew chief question from Singular: can Carl Edwards win his 3rd Atlanta Cup race in a row? Yes or no? Text the word crew to 191 on your Singular phone, or log on to foxsports.com/singular, and you'll be entered to win Jeff Burton's payday at the July race in Daytona.
You know, I made a pretty broad statement about Carl and some of the rookies yesterday about staying focused. And I don't question, there's not a doubt in my mind that Carl Edwards is as focused as he ever was, but young guys get so many options thrown at them, so many things they can do that they never had to deal with before. That was my point about staying focused. Not that I don't think he's 110% committed to what he's doing, but you got to be careful when things come at you.
I think what you're saying there, a lot of times it's not self-inflicted. It happens before you even realize it.
You get pulled in a lot of different directions, particularly when you're a guy like Carl. Carl's such an outgoing guy. He's got a great personality. People want him involved in everything they can think of.
Tell you what, we were just talking about Robbie Gordon in that 7 car. He has found something up in that high groove, especially through 3 and 4. Look at the momentum, the run he gets off turn 4, just drives by Jeff Gordon in the 24, all the way up to Harvick in the 29.
I don't know if Jeff Gordon's all that happy with his car right now, Larry. He's not really moved forward all that much. He's just kind of maintaining at best.
What, Elliott Sadler in that 38 car right there, the combos car, he started back in the 28th position. He's been making a march to the front to some degree. This team needs a good run here today.
I'll tell you, the Yates cars are always good here. Dale Jarrett and Elliott, both those Yates cars with Ford power, Fusion body, they should be up there pretty close to the front before the day's over.
Sadler is 18th. Jarrett is 25th as we complete 33 laps. Greg Biffle in the Subway National Guard Ford with a 1-second lead over Kurt Busch. Labonte, Hamlin, and Carl Edwards in 5th, trying to win his 3rd Atlanta race in a row. Greg Biffle, Bobby Labonte, Casey Kane, and Ryan Newman. 1 caution flag. That was for Newman's spin for 4 laps. Otherwise, we've been green on a chilly, overcast day south of Atlanta, Georgia, where Greg Biffle, Matt, has opened up a lead now of 2 seconds on Kurt Busch.
Mike, he still says now that the car's a little bit on the free side out front with that clean air. He was tight earlier. Now Biffle, one of those drivers in Saturday's Busch race that experienced issues with his right rear tire. Going down to the cords now. We are about 10 laps away from the competition yellow, but he is asking his spotter Joel Edmonds, A, where the 99 his teammate Carl Edwards is running, but also telling him that he is really searching, trying different entries and exits as the 5 car is slowed up in the corner. Mike?
That'll bring out a caution, Matt, for the 2nd time today. Comes out at lap 42. Kyle Busch, way up top, could not get down to pit road, stops on track, draws the caution.
Yeah, he makes it to pit road. Now, you know, he was not inside the commit cone. The penalty will be tailing the longest line. But, Darrell, if he's got a problem, that probably was a smart move.
Left front's down, and it's got all the letters rubbed off of it. I don't know if he made contact or if that's just from it going down.
Here we see that a lot on short tracks, stopping on track to draw the caution, and usually with a penalty. Oh boy, at a 200-mile-an-hour racetrack, yikes.
I got to believe he might have made contact with someone, because if you look at his left front tire, you'll see that all the lettering has been rubbed off of it, which tells me he may have scrubbed into something.
Tell you what, that caution was good news for Bill Lester in the 23 car. He was just about to go a lap down to Greg Biffle in the 16.
And it was better news for Ryan Newman, because Newman gets the free pass. He brought out the first caution flag at lap 12, and he is now back on the lead lap.
Yeah, watch Newman, Mike. He's on that restart. He could not go anywhere. The car was just not to his liking at all. And of course he got lapped, so still got some work to do there.
Now NASCAR had planned a competition yellow for teams to check tire wear on this green racetrack. Since we've had 2 cautions already in the top 50 laps, they have lifted that. There will be no competition yellow, and we'll race green as long as we can.
Well, that tells me they looked at those tires that came off after that first stop, and they saw no real issues, so they feel comfortable now to go ahead.
Now, pit road is still closed right now, but we certainly anticipate, a lot like when we had our caution back on lap 15, that we'll probably see all cars on the lead lap 2 pit road for 4 tires and adjustments.
Don't forget, Kyle Busch blew a right rear here in the Busch race on Saturday. Today he's got a left front issue, so he's working away all the way around the car.
Yeah, a little too much traffic to get down to the pit lane.
Yeah, and it's a shame, because, you know, he can't cut down in front of traffic. So he's going to pull up here. I don't think he really intended to bring out the caution as much as he just didn't want to get run over.
Now he has gone a lap down, according to scoring. Hermie Sadler is 3 laps down. Otherwise, everyone's on the lead lap. Let's have a look at our singular virtual crew chief question and see how you voted. Can Carl Edwards defy the odds and make it 3 in a row today? Survey says probably not.
I disagree.
Based on what we saw that last run, I know we got a long ways to go, but he was coming.
Well, the odds are not in his favor.
There's horses for courses, and this is his course, boys.
That's right. Remember, when you participate in singular virtual crew chief, you're entered for a chance to win Jeff Burton's payday in Daytona in July. It'll be a quickie yellow. Everybody can pit this time by. Matt?
And later, Greg Biffle will have an opening, so he'll have an easy exit. But his spotter, Joel Edmonds, reminded him that the 21 of Schrader, who he almost made contact with on the first stop, is 25 cars back, so he should be pulling in as Biffle is getting ready to pull out, since the car's a little bit on the free side as they go to work on the right side. Further up pit road to Steve Burns.
Well, Matt, Carl Edwards disagrees with the fans. He just told Bob Osborne that his car is a lot of fun to drive, just a little bit tight in the center, a small air pressure, quarter pound out of the left side. Dick?
Kurt Busch has stopped short in his pit, turned the nose of the car out just a tad so that he will not be blocked in by the 9 car just ahead of him.
Dick, we had a crash on pit road with Carl Edwards in the 99 as he was pulling out. Dave Blaney in the 22 turned right across his nose. There's going to be a lot of damage to that 99 car. We talked about this in the beginning in the FedEx racetracks. Carl Edwards, these guys had a great pit stop. He had an opening in front of him. He turns out. There you see Blaney in the 22 coming in. And look at all that damage, Steve, on the right front of that 99 car.
And Carl Edwards just said, sorry, I never saw the 22. They're going to have to go behind the wall. Carl thinks they have a tie rod problem. Mike Joy?
Blind spot off the right rear of these cars. Hard to see. Edwards really needed some help on that one. From his crew chief or spotter exiting the pits, turned the 22 of Blaney around and damaged the right front of his car. So he will restart tail end of the lead lap cars, 41st. We're ready to go back to green to begin lap 48.
Tell you what, that 4th car in line right there, Jeff Burton in that 31 car, he pulls to the inside of Casey Kane. They have definitely made the right adjustments on that race car, plus that pit crew is doing their job on pit road.
And Burton a winner here Saturday in the Busch race.
How about that 17 car? Yeah, they've been making ground up on the racetrack as well, but I think that Robbie Reiser crew, as always, they've been doing their job on pit road.
Well, this getting a little close right in there.
Woo. Matt Kenseth started 27th. It took him 36 laps to break into the top 10. He is now 6th.
And he is headed to the top 5.
Bobby Labonte got a good stop, still strong in the Cheerios Dodge. Now Greg Biffle lost the lead because of a little misstep on pit road. Matt?
A couple of issues for the 16 team, Mike. First off, issues on the right rear. Luck fell off. The tire changer had to put that back on. Also, a little bit of concern for the Biff because he said he ran over some debris. He heard it hit underneath the car, so he is a little concerned about that, trying to work his way back to the front, working on the inside of the 43 of Labonte.
Tell you, Larry, we see every week we see this same thing. The guy that gets out front is able to just stretch it out. It doesn't seem to matter who it is. When he gets out front in that clean air, these cars really run much back faster.
Yeah, I mean, Kurt Busch, the 2 leading this thing, he just ran his fastest lap of the race 1 lap ago at a 29.56 around this mile-and-a-half racetrack.
Yeah, and that means one thing, Larry. The tracks come in now. I think they put down a little rubber, and speeds are really picking up.
That's close to qualifying speed.
Getting right down there, bud. That would have made the race.
So Greg Biffle trying to overcome the problems on pit road, up to 4th place ahead of Casey Kane. And Carl Edwards has picked up 5 positions. They put a patch on the right front there, but it didn't stay very long. In fact, it didn't make it down pit road.
And what happened, I mean, the crew was coming. I mean, the cars were coming about to put him a lap down on pit road, so they didn't have a lot of time, Steve.
No, they didn't, Larry Mack, and the team is concerned. You see in the upper left-hand corner of your screen, they are considering putting a replacement nose on or a replacement front part of the bumper. That adhesive, teams called Bear Bond, it did fly off. Now, before the restart, Carl Edwards apologized. His spotter on top of the racetrack, Bobby Hudson, apologized, but Carl said, guys, we can still win this race. Let's stay in it. DW?
Yeah, Burns, did he say anything about how it's driving? I mean, he was talking about a tie rod. Did he say anything about how it's driving?
Yes, he did. DW, so far, he said the car is tracking fine. They're concerned about that nose, but it is driving fine. They're not that right front tire and the suspension okay so far.
Yeah, I think he's in trouble right now. He's back there running 31.50s, and our leader, Kurt Busch, is running 30.40s and 50s, so he's about a second a lap off.
Phil Lester living his dream, starting his first Nextel Cup race today, running behind Carl Edwards.
But you know,
40th.
Mike and Matt, I think Bill Lester's doing what he needs to do right here. He just needs to run 500 miles today, gain the respect of the other drivers, like he said, and learn what it's like to ride a 500-mile race. Wouldn't you say so, Matt?
Larry Mack, you're exactly right. Now, Bill put a big check mark next to that dream of qualifying for a Nextel Cup race. Now, like you mentioned, he wants to finish it. The car just really loose everywhere. On the first stop, a number of adjustments. Then on the last stop, more significant adjustments with wedge and air pressure because the car is just way too loose everywhere.
Bobby Labonte backing up a bit here as Jimmy Johnson goes by. This moves Labonte back to 10th place.
You want to see what sucked around feels like or looks like? Watch this. Ooh, whoa, baby, because you're running down into turn one there. You're kind of arcing it out anyway. And so when you're arcing out like that and you got somebody on the outside, it will suck you around. And, uh-oh, the 43 car.
Bobby Labonte.
I don't see any tire issues.
Had such high hopes for today. Started up front.
This is something more serious than a tire.
Started fourth.
Kept looking at that left rear, but I think the tires look up. If it's going down, it's not flat yet. That's for sure.
Doesn't seem to be. I'm not sure what's going on here. We'll have to wait and see. Still under power, looks to me like.
No, he's coasting to his pit. Steve?
And Mike, one of the guys in the pits just looked over and gave me the sign with crossed hands, which means the motor's broke.
I know one thing, it was running.
Yes,
Golly gee, had some ponies on the hood today.
That was good to see. Just ahead of him, you saw Hermie Sadler take his 00 to the garage. So these would be the first two cars out of this race. Kurt Busch leads Denny Hamlin by 1 second. Dick?
Day for Bobby Labonte, but a great day for Kurt Busch. He started in 9th position, and just everything is falling his way, Mike. They've had terrific pit stops. The last round of pit stops, they win in his 2nd spot. Executed a great stop, minor adjustments in weight distribution and tire pressure on that car. Got him back out on the racetrack at first, and just before the pit stop, Busch radioed to his crew and told him he had a real good race car. If they made the right adjustments over the course of the day, they'd be all set up. And he radioed back after the pit stop, after he'd had some fast laps, and told them that the car is just right. Kurt Busch in first, all's going his way so far.
And Darrell, just to make a point about the 43 car, I know it's early in the race, but this place is hard on engines. I mean, it's sustained RPMs. We saw in qualifying 95, 9600, but never falls below 7,000. But there's other problems for that car too.
Oh yeah, he's 37th in points right now. Got to get in the top 35 going into after Bristol next week. They got their work cut out for them, buddy.
They'll have to qualify on time next week.
Denny Hamlin has eaten 0.2 of a second out of Kurt Busch's lead as Hamlin runs second. The Golden Corral 500 on Fox, presented by DLP HDTV, is sponsored by Budweiser, the official beer of NASCAR, and proud sponsors of Dale Earnhardt Jr. and the number 8 car. OAD stands for overactive adrenaline disorder. It's a quality these Ford drivers possess. And here are Ford's biggest movers of the race. Matt Kenseth up 21 positions now to 6th place. Trouble for two past winners. A tire down on the right front of Carl Edwards. Last year's winner and the 2001 winner of this race, Kevin Harvick, has just made an unscheduled pit stop, and now the caution comes out for the third time today.
Carl's problems probably started from that something rubbing on that thing, because that fender's been tucked in underneath there, so he's got bigger issues now. The whole right corner's blown up. Whoa, his tire changer just took a dive.
And Edwards loses a lap in the process as the caution is out for debris. Now, just prior to the caution flag, as we came back from break, Denny Hamlin kept working the inside of Kurt Busch and got him for the lead.
Boy, did you see Kurt getting sideways up there in the middle of the corner, and that opened the door for Hamlin to go low, and he did, and into the lead he goes. Carrying freight, baby.
Well, even watching him on the scoring monitor, he was running down no Biff in that FedEx car about 0.2 of a second a lap.
It comes as no great surprise. You know, we talked about Bobby Labonte, but the Gibbs cars through the years have just been really great here at Atlanta, with Bobby Labonte at the wheel, certainly Tony Stewart, and now both these rookies. Yaley's up there in 12th.
And one thing I want to make sure and clear up, next week at Bristol will actually be the 5th race. So the 43 is locked into Bristol. They need to get into the top 35 points next week, or then they'd have to qualify on time at Martinsville.
Right, he just doesn't need to have any disasters at Bristol, which you can't have.
Kyle Busch will get the free pass on this third caution flag of the day. Pit road is open. Here's Matt.
Good day so far for all JGR cars. All three are top 15 now. The 11, Denny Hamlin, they've made progress. Still trying to free it up. They went up on the track bar the previous stop, going up again. At the top of your screen, Greg Biffle says his car loose on this set of tires. Good stop going so far. Let's go further up pit road. Nick Berger.
Well, Kurt Busch way down at the other end of pit road, so he's the last one to arrive that you saw in your triple. He's asked for a bottle of water. They've just handed that to him. More major changes to the car this time. Car a little bit loose in the center. Busch again has pitted back in his pit stall, so he won't get trapped in, but several cars have beaten him out to the racetrack.
Here's the race off pit road. Denny Hamlin gets out first. Another close call. This one between Matt Kenseth leaving and Michael Waltrip trying to enter his pit box.
You can see Kurt Busch, though, in the 2, the real loser there, lost 3 spots. And right here, top 2 guys had the fastest times, including the stop. Denny Hamlin and Greg Biffle in the 16 car, with Jimmy Johnson and Robbie Gordon having the slowest of our top 10.
So that's the downside of pitting middle to back toward turn 4 on the pit road here. When you got other cars coming in about the time you're going out, you collide.
You see Michael Waltrip swerve to the right to avoid an exiting Matt Kenseth. Good work on Michael's part to avoid the collision. Whoa. Close call. Steve?
Mike, with the dejected Bobby Labonte, it was an abrupt end to what looked like a promising day, Bobby.
Yeah, it started off pretty good there, and these guys did a really good job, and everybody at the shop has done a great job this winter. And the first 2 races just can't seem to catch a break right now, but it was a good confidence builder for us today, and the guys on the Pillsbury Dodge today did good, and just want to thank everybody there at General Mills for sticking behind us, and we've got a. It's going to take a little time, and we're gaining on it, and just can't thank everybody enough for the opportunities, and we can build off a little bit today at least, and we'll go to my next favorite track, Bristol, which is next weekend, and then after that it'll be whatever we go to, and it'll be my favorite track then too. So it's a pretty good day for us, but just ended up too soon.
Thank you, Bobby.
Bobby Labonte led 13 laps before being sent to the garage with engine failure.
I'd say the way he ran here today, in about 3 weeks, he'll be mighty tough at Old Texas.
Ooh, good point.
250 now, 300.
Oh, boy.
Got to let the pot boil a little bit longer.
Carl Edwards has been in and out of the pits, and NASCAR brought him in because he ran the stop sign at the end of pit road, so they brought him in for a 1-lap penalty. 72 laps complete. Here's a Visa race break. Ryan Newman off to a tough start at lap 12. Denny Hamlin gets the air taken off his spoiler by J.J. Yaley, and Newman ends up going around. A left rear cut down. Caution ensues. And he works his way back. Pit road. Carl Edwards, or excuse me, Casey Kane beats the 16 out, and then Carl Edwards exits as Dave Blaney is entering, damaging the right front of Edwards' car. Greg Biffle has trouble on pit road. You see that lug nut spit out from the right rear. Had to go back and get another one, and he lost a bunch of spots on pit road. Michael Waltrip coming in has to swerve as Matt Gens is coming out on this very tight pit road. Bobby Labonte led 13 laps early, but his day was over early. Engine failure put the Petty Dodge behind the wall. Edwards, a cut right rear, perhaps a consequence of getting into Blaney on pit road, right front that is. They've come in and made further repairs. This has been a Visa race break. No matter what it takes, life takes Visa. We're going to restart to begin lap 74. That's Kevin Harvick trying to get back on the lead lap on the inside. He made an unscheduled pit stop earlier and has a vibration in his Goodrich 29.
And not a good vibration either. Sounds pretty serious, or at least it was.
Brian Newman got the free pass on the second caution, and he has rebounded. Trying to find his way back to the front.
You know, Saturday in the Busch race, he started up on the outside front row, and he fell back through the field immediately. They came in and worked on the car a number of times, and he was charging to the front before he blew that right rear tire here on the front straightaway. So maybe he'll have some of that same luck today. Not blowing out the tire, but coming back to the field.
Newman is 25th. Battle up front. Hamlin trying to take it to Biffle on the inside.
Just like he did before that last caution. And there you see Kurt Busch in the 2 car right up in the mix of things.
Whoa. Well, that 16 car, he drove it in so hard it wouldn't stick, and it went to the top.
Yeah, we have different lines. I'm not sure that's where he wanted to be that time.
He didn't prefer that line. It just went there.
And about the 31 of Jeff Burton, who started up front, backslid pretty deep in the top 20. Now he's right back there in 4th place. Saturday's winner in the Busch race.
I think some of the guys, you know, the veterans of the, you know, they are always kind of cautious on a green racetrack. May have been by design.
Steve?
Well, Mike, remember early in the event, Jeff Burton backed up, as you said. He said he couldn't get the car to turn. They have fixed that problem. He said the car is turning so well in the middle now, I'm going to move up the racetrack late in the run to save the tires, but I like where I am right now. It's really turning. You see him right down along that white line. Matt Yoakum has news on Greg Biffle.
And Biffle in the 16 car working on the back of the 2 of Busch goes to the inside. Now, Biffle just came on the radio and said if the 11 wants to go, he can go. I'm not going to use up my tires. Mike Ford told Denny Hamlin that they felt like that the 16 of Biffle was better over the first 10 to 12 laps, and then their lap times were pretty consistent with the 16.
Lurking in 5th place, Mark Martin has worked his way up into the top 5 in that number 6 AAA Fusion.
And there's a perfect example of what I was talking about. Kind of check out the track, be sure that there's no issues on the start here, and then work your way to the front.
I'm going to tell you what, I've been watching this yellow and purple car here, Robbie Gordon, number 7. He is picking them up and laying them down. Remember, he started back in the 36th position, and now he has moved all the way up here battling Casey Kane for the 7th spot.
What's that song? One-eyed, one-horn, flying purple people eater with the purple hat band?
Cheb Woolley.
Yeah.
Dick Berggren.
Gordon's car is still a little bit tight, Mike. He has complained all day long about the car being tight. Crew's done their best to try to adjust it to get some more speed out of it, but it's still pushing just a little more than he'd like. Gordon has been on the radio the whole day asking where fast people are running. High, low, in the middle, and he has tried just about every place.
Biffle to the outside on Denny Hamlin. Wants the lead back.
These guys just keep going at it. 79 laps in this race, and Biffle just drove it down in there that time, and it stuck. He's going to pull away from Denny Hamlin in the 11 car. And now Denny Hamlin has his hands full of Kurt Busch in that Miller Lite number 2 car. Tell you what, with the 2 runs that the 2 team had at Fontana and Las Vegas, this has got to be a big confidence builder for this whole organization. Going with the Dodge Intrepid at Fontana and Las Vegas, bringing the Charger here, been in the top 5 the whole time. There goes Robbie Gordon in the 7.
Whoa,
drives by Casey Kane, but Kane's coming back on the high side.
Oh, Robbie got in so hard, Larry, that the car took off with him. He had to get out of it.
I don't think there's any doubt Robbie's giving 100% right now.
Oh no, he'll drive her down in there.
Just in front of them, the point leader and winner out of 2 of the first 3 races this year, the 48 of Jimmy Johnson. Matt?
Lurking back in 6th. Now, he's been fighting a tight condition most of the race. A snappy loose issue on the last run, and air pressure and track bar adjustment. But what a run they've had, not only the start this year, but the last couple years. They have been first in the championship standings, 31 out of the last 61 races.
You know, Robbie Gordon wants to know where the fast cars are running. Where is he running?
Yeah, I mean, because he's definitely
right
one of the faster cars. You know, right behind this group right here, we talked about him earlier, had the window net issue there early in the race. Tony Stewart in that orange number 20 car started back in 21st. He just cracked the top 10 up to 10th. You see Tony Stewart right there.
He's got a half a second on Dale Jr.
I'll tell you another guy I've been watching, Larry, the old UPS car here with Dale Jarrett on board. He's up to 17th. Been watching his car. It's working pretty good for him. And Dale, he will fool around here all day, and I guarantee he'll be in the top 10 when the day's over with.
He likes this place.
And I don't mean fool around in that. I just mean he'll work on it, keep himself in contention. He'll be up there in the top 10.
Here comes Clint Boyer. Childress Racing 07 right underneath Jarrett. This is for 17th.
Tell you what, the little 41 car there, Reed Sorensen, made his very first Nextel Cup start here back in the fall of last year. He actually got his racing start here at Atlanta, but not on this big 1.5 miles, on this little quarter mile on the front stretch. Won about 80-something legend races there. Pretty good run.
It's a good day for the rookies so far. There's Clint Boyer, who leads the rookie points over teammates Hamlin and Yaley. Truex, the Busch champ.
It's a good day, and I believe it's going to be a really good year for all the rookies.
And you know what's neat about those 7 guys? Something that they needed to do those first 3 races of this year, this being race number 4, all of them have been running at the end of the first 3 races. No DNS for those guys.
Greg Biffle leads the Golden Corral 500 at 86 laps. He's 1.6 seconds ahead of Denny Hamlin. It's on the racetrack, judging by lap times, along with Robbie Gordon and Jimmy Johnson 6th and 7th, and the 2 Yates cars.
Tony
9th place here.
20 car just driving underneath Casey Kane in the 9. That 20, but that's where he's been the entire 92 laps of this race, hugging that white line. We talked about that earlier.
Matt?
Lap times are better, Greg Zibinelli telling Tony Stewart on the 20. Stewart says the car, though, is still pretty tight. They've been working on that throughout much of the race.
Hey, Matt, tell him to move up a little bit.
I don't think you'll get him off the bottom ever.
I don't think he will either.
He and Casey Kane. Casey loves the top. He loves the bottom.
Yeah.
Well, then they'll probably spend a lot of time together today.
His left wheels are below the white line most of the time.
Greg Biffle now with a 2.2 second lead on Denny Hamlin. There's the separation.
Pretty equally spaced out there.
But I'm going to tell you what, there is a car right in the middle of those top 3. He probably has one of the faster cars right now, Kevin Harvick in the 29, just in front of Kurt Busch in the 2. Remember, he had to come to pit road back on lap 65, just about 1 lap before that last caution. Right now, he just wants to sit right here and ride, because he would actually be the only car eligible for the free pass. If the caution comes out, he would be back on the lead lap.
And we probably got another dozen or so laps before Greg Biffle starts lapping cars at the back of the pack, which would take Harvick out of that spot.
Harvick don't want to see that. He'd like to see a caution here pretty quickly.
Robbie Gordon in front of Jeff Burton, 5th place.
I would hold my breath. I wouldn't panic. Get to 40 laps. That's about where we saw some guys have tire trouble the other day. Now watch this guy drive. Tell you what, it's interesting to me. You know, I like to watch the guys with their hands on the wheel, but he slides his right hand. He kind of lets it slide. Look where it is. It's way down here. He goes down there to the turn and watch. He just kind of lets it. That's an odd way to hold the steering wheel.
Darryl, one thing I want to point out, remember we talked about Bobby Labonte when he lost that engine earlier? Look at the RPM right here. Never goes below 7,000, but up to 9,500 right there. Hard on an engine.
Carol, the other thing I see there is they must have a really fast steering box in that car because he's not moving the steering wheel much at all.
No, if we jump inside of Dale Jr.'s car and you look at how he's cranking on his steering wheel and you watch Biffle here, he's got his hands at about 3 and 9. Now watch Junior. Look where he is, way over there. I mean, he's cranking on his. So it's just interesting to me, and a lot of that has to do with this steering box, like you said, the race show they run. Also, a lot of it has to do with how well your car's handling.
And I don't think Dale Earnhardt Jr. in 8 car is driving very good. He had made it almost to the top 10. Now he's back to 20.
I mean, let's look at this. Look at his right hand way over here. And look where Biffle's way down here. This is old school. Dale Jr. is old school. That's the way we always held the wheel right there. Biffle, on the other hand, that's more like what I guess some of these young guys are doing these days.
What a difference, though.
Now, let me ask you a question. Which one would you think would be right?
Based on the stopwatch?
Right, that's exactly right.
I would go with the yellow car.
Yeah.
100 laps complete for the leader next time by, Matt.
And the driver of the yellow car, DW, came on the radio back on lap 91, says this car is so much better out in clean air. Then he also came on and said, I think I'm going to back it down just a little bit, going a little too fast early in this run. 3 laps before that, Mike Ford, the crew chief of the 11, Denny Hamlin, asked his driver, how is the car? Now he says, the car is good. It's just the 16 car is just flying. And Mike Ford reminded him, let's just run our race. To Nick Bergeron.
Well, car number 9, Casey Kane, started this race on the pole. He has dropped back to the 10th position. His lap times just have not been as fast as the leader. Right now, the car is loose in, a bit tight in the center. This is all stuff that they can adjust toward the end of the event. If, in fact, we go all the way to the end of the event, all 500 miles. And right now, frankly, the sky is brightening. Things are looking really good. And I'll tell you what, down here on pit road, I'm also watching Robbie Gordon, who has cracked the top 5, started in 36th spot.
I got to think Dick Bergeron he has to be the president of the local Optimist Club. The sun's going to come out. Everything's going to be fine all the time. I like that. I like this. It's good to see Robbie Gordon have a great day here in Atlanta. Running in 5th place. His lap times are right identical to the leader. And good run.
And we talked about the 43 car being way back in owner points. This 7 car is in 14th coming in this race. When we clear Bristol, if he can have a couple of good runs, which obviously he's having today, for the first time as an owner driver of the 7, the pressure will be off. He will be locked in the show when we get to Martinsville.
Okay. You can count the number of successful owner drivers in Nextel Cup on, well, very few fingers.
1 finger, maybe.
Maybe. Hamlin 2nd. The first Dodge is Kurt Busch in 3rd. Our next virtual crew chief question from Singular. Can Dodge win its first Cup race in Atlanta since 1977? Text the word crew to 191 on your Singular wireless phone or log on to foxsports.com/Singular. Slow car on the backstretch, the Amp Energy drink. Number 61 for Kevin LePage. And it looks like he's out of power. Going to coast in.
It's not out of energy. It's just out of power.
You know, guys,
he got a right front tire flat, fellas.
I was going to say, this is the furthest we've been under green. We got Jeff Burton at 31. Robbie Gordon's actually starting to go backwards a little bit. Matt Kenseth in the 17 went by him a few laps ago. Now Burton goes by him here This is for 6th position.
Larry, I bet when you start pulling these tires off on this next round of pit stops, you're going to see some tires that needed replaced.
Which will probably come in about the next 15 to 20 laps if we indeed stay green.
The problem Saturday were with the shoulder of the tire, the area that's the junction between the tread, the surface of the tire, and the sidewall. Those shoulders were overheating, and tires were chunking as a result, and a couple of cars lost the whole tread, which tore the right rear quarter panel off of 2 cars.
Old school, we turned the car with a right front tire. I mean, that's how you made the car turn. You just leaned on the right front. And that's the way it was up until the last couple of years. Now they turn the car off the right rear. The biggest spring in the car is in the right rear, and it puts all the heat and pressure on that right rear tire.
Matt Kenseth in trouble, Steve.
Yeah, and DW just mentioned it. Problem on the right rear of Matt Kenseth. He's headed down pit road, as you said. Right rear tire problem.
Well, we're in that window, Manny. I think we're going to, Steve, I think we're going to see that quite often here.
Now, what Matt Kenseth, as his crew goes to work on the car, I'm sure this will be 4 tires. What he needs this thing to go that next 15 to 20 laps without a caution. Then he would, for the most part, be on equal ground. He'll have more laps on his tires.
He's going to lose a lap making this stop. Quick work. But the DeWalt car goes a lap down.
He won't be in bad shape, Larry, as you well know, if this thing will cycle through and everybody makes a pit stop under green. He's just going to be out there. He's going to be on new tires here for a while before other guys are.
The Yates cars are working their way up. As we talked about, Elliott Sadler, his Fusion is 10th, and his teammate Dale Jarrett is 13th right now. Sadler runs just about 12 seconds behind the race leader. There he is in orange.
It's definitely the best run these guys have had since Daytona. They're sitting 8th in the points, but I tell you, another car just right behind Elliott Sadler, Brian Vickers in that 25 car. Remember, he's one of the cars we made note had to go to the rear of the field because they lost an engine qualifying, so he's went from dead last to working on cracking the top 10. Car looks real good right through the middle of the corner. You can see how much ground he made up on Elliott Sadler right there in the middle.
Vickers is the second of the Hendrick Chevys in this race. Jimmy Johnson runs in 7th. Vickers is 11th.
Dale Jarrett back there, we talked about him in that UPS car. His car looked awfully good in the middle of the corner. He pulled right up on the back of J.J. Yaley in the 18.
That 20 car, he looks really good, Larry. He just went around Jeff Burton, and he's got that thing on a rail right now.
He's just cracked the top 5 when he went
Robbie
by.
Gordon coming into the pits, and is this a little early?
Well, I think it's getting close, but he was going backwards, so you almost think he anticipated he may have had a problem. He had lost about 5 or 6 position over the last 6 or 8 laps.
As Robbie comes in, Steve, what was the problem on Matt Kenseth?
Mike, I just got an eyeball look at Robbie Reiser hopped off the top of the the toolbox. You could see the cords on the outer right edge of that right rear tire. You could see the cords in one area. Caution out.
Turn 2, a car in the wall. Jeremy Mayfield, caution is out. That's a tough break for Robbie Gordon. Let's see if he can get out ahead of the pace car, having just made his stop. And he does, so he will likely stay on. We'll see if he stays on the lead lap after making that green flag stop, or if he goes a lap down when they come around.
Yeah, I think what it's going to be, Mike, I think he's going to be 1 lap down here, but that was untimely for him. It was untimely for Sterling Marlin in the 40 that had just hit pit road.
Jeremy Mayfield. Car.
And that was actually David Strimmy that was on pit road at the same time Robbie Gordon was. Well, we had talked about it. This is the furthest we had been under green, and you knew we were right in that window of about 10 laps of making green flag stops. And right there we saw Matt Kenseth have a problem, Robbie Gordon on the verge of a problem, and then the 19 car, Jeremy Mayfield, with a problem.
And Larry, you're right. Robbie Gordon is 1 lap down, having made that green flag pit stop, and not in position to get the free pass on this, the 4th yellow flag of the day. Michael Waltrip is Mr. Lucky. He will move back up onto the lead lap.
And what happened to Kevin Harvick is exactly what you talked about, is the leader was starting to lap cars. Kevin Harvick probably had the second best car out there, but because Biffle was lapping those cars, then he just did not get the free pass right there. He needs a quick caution to be able to capitalize on it.
Here they come to pit road, Matt.
And Denny Hamlin running in the second spot in the 11 car. A little bit different than his teammate Tony Stewart, who is tight. Hamlin, he's free on throttle. Look for another possible chassis adjustment for the 11 car. As the 16 of Greg Biffle slides to a stop, goes over the line, the team had to stop, push Biffle back before they continue on with their service, and their right front is all the way down to the cords on Biffle's car, Steve.
And Matt, Jeff Burton very concerned about his right rear tire. He under caution, he said, we have a problem. This is a lucky break for them. They have no rear grip. Dick.
Well, Kurt Busch has parked his car absolutely perfect yet again. Says he's got a little bit of extra temperature. Car overheating. There's a piece of trash on the grill. They got the piece of trash off. Nice stop. He's going to go out in third.
Tell you who had a nice stop. Tony Stewart, that Greg Zipadelli crew, gained 4 spots there. He's going to leave pit road with the lead in this 20 car, 4 spots.
His little teammate was very kind to him. The 11 car, he had him beaten, and then he kind of let Tony go.
Well, Hamlin got a little aggressive coming out of his pit, really speeded up alongside Tony, and then realized that with the radar guns running, that might not be quite such a good idea.
Yeah.
But you heard Matt Yoakum talk about Greg Biffle in that 16 car on this last pit stop, and this is what happened. You can see him coming in. He has an opening in front of him. He slides, and you can see right there he's in front of that line. You can see the NASCAR official backing him up, which is perfectly legal right there.
You know why? His tires are worn out. He's got no grip.
No grip.
.33 cars on the lead lap, and some fast cars going to restart alongside them 1 lap down, including Harvick, Kenseth, and Casey Mears. Positions there and laps completed, and you can scroll through interesting information such as the point standings as of now. It's all part of Nextel Fan View. To learn more, go to foxsports.com/Nextel Fan View. There we got some good cars a lap down on this restart, like Harvick and Kenseth and Casey Mears trying to fight their way back onto the lead lap.
Robbie Gordon sitting up there on the outside lane, which is perfectly legal. He's on the tail end of the lead lap. He's hoping for a really quick caution. I think he's fast enough to stay there. He was earlier. That 20 car's been pretty steamy on the bottom.
Tell you what, Kenseth in the 17 dives to the inside. What he's trying to do is get up there and be the first car lap down where he can get the free pass. Right now, his race is pretty much with the 29 of Harvick.
Oh, contact off of 2 over
Kurt
there.
Busch in the 2 gets shoved all the way up into the wall. There was nowhere else for him to go.
He got damage on the left front and the wall. I got a feeling that hurt that car.
It's hard to believe they all got straightened out after that one.
Well, they were 3 wide, and there's somebody that's
Harvick, he's got problems.
He's got a tire down.
Yeah, he was one of those cars involved in that deal with Kurt Busch.
Yeah, he's got his right rear tire cut down, and a lot of damage on the right rear. I got to believe Kurt's got quite a bit of damage, too. They just come off 3 wide over there, and there's just not enough room. Here they are.
Harvick in the middle. That's Stremme, the 40 on the bottom.
Stremme gets into Harvick. Yeah, that's hard contact for the 2 car and the 29.
Well, tell you what, Greg Biffle in the 16, he was almost sucked right up in that.
Kevin Harvick's going to have to bring it to pit road, Steve.
Yeah, I'm listening to Kevin Harvick right now, and he's upset with the spotter on the 40 car of David Stremme. They do have a flat right rear tire on the 29.
Now Stremme was also on the tail end of the lead lap, trying to get back on the lead lap with the rest of that pack, Matt.
And the 16 of Biffle, he says he skidded his tires. He's not sure how long his tires will last now, Mike. One of the best cars so far in the race, maybe coming to pit road earlier than planned.
And remember, we just made note he was the car right behind that group. He evidently jumped on the brake to stay out of that mess.
Let's show you again what happened to Biffle in all that.
You can hear how much he jumped off the throttle and probably put some brake on as well.
Yeah, I can't imagine he hurt his tires very much. But now the 2 car, he's got quite a bit of damage as well, particularly to the right front. He hit that wall hard over there off of turn 2. What are they saying, Dick?
Well, basically what you just said, Darrell, that they're very concerned about the amount of damage that they've got on the right front corner of that automobile. It is pretty significant.
Yeah, I can see it up here, Dick, and the right front fender's pushed in, and
he's got left front damage.
And he's backing up into a big wad of traffic.
He's trying to get high out of the way.
Jeff Gordon in 12th place, right behind teammate Brian Vickers. Haven't seen too much of Jeff today. What's up, Dick?
Well, he's had a lot of problems with the front end of the car, Mike. It's pushing very badly. And look at the right front that came off that automobile. The crew tried to prevent us from showing it to you on television. Basically took it right down to the cord. On that pit stop, they did a spring rubber to try to help it. Also, a lot more air pressure in that right front.
And Darrell, we've been talking about it. You carry so much speed at this racetrack, and you're in the corners for so long. I mean, the right side tires never get relief here.
Yeah, I just hate we have these tire issues all the time. It's just it's something that you really wish you didn't have to deal with.
Goodyear put out a press release yesterday saying they had brought a harder rubber compound in the tread of the tire here to Atlanta this time. Now, a harder tire won't be quite as grippy, so it may be these tires are sliding more than the tires that we used here last year, and could that be leading to some of these problems?
And it was always funny. Every time they toughen the tire up a little bit and make it a little harder, we would end up with more tire wear than we would with a tire that was a little on the soft side, something we could wear out and take care of.
Let's check with Steve.
Mike, just want to follow up on what Dick Bergman just said. Jeff Burton told his crew chief, Scott Miller, when the caution came out, he was very concerned about the right rear tire. After looking at the tires, their communication back to him was the right rear looked pretty good, but they were concerned more about the right front.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think it's the weather and the track conditions. We're seeing more right front wear today than we did in the Busch race where we saw right rear wear.
How much of that, Darrell, can you attribute to having a green racetrack that's the rain has kind of scrubbed the rubber buildup off of it from Saturday?
Yeah, I just think the cars are a little tighter today than what the guys set them up for. You got a little put extra wheel in them. You're going to wear that right front tire.
A race leader Tony Stewart has a 1.6 second cushion on his teammate Denny Hamlin, still running right down around that white line, Matt.
His first 500-mile win of any kind in his racing career, Mike, came right here at what he considers the home track for his sponsor, Home Depot. Now, Stewart was warned by his crew chief, Greg Zipadelli, that the 11 and the 16, Hamlin and Biffle, were pretty fast at the beginning of the run, so preached tire management to Stewart, keeping him in mind that the 16 and 11 may make a big run on him, but Stewart, being patient, just continues to motor away. Still work in progress, trying to free up the car.
Matt, one car he is not motoring away from, though, is that purple car, the Harris car of Robbie Gordon. Now, remember, one lap before that last caution, Robbie Gordon in the 7 hit pit road. The caution came out, but I'm going to tell you, he is right there with the 20 car. What Robbie needs now, he doesn't need what Kevin Harvick had a while ago. Robbie needs the caution now. Then there's no question he gets the free pass back on the lead lap.
And the other thing, Larry, he doesn't need is for to have any more tire issues, because if he had to come to pit road again, then you'd be out of the lucky dog position.
It looks like to me he's going to try to get the lap back the hard way. He's just going to drive by the leader back on the lead lap.
I believe Tony Stewart said, look, I'm going to work with you here. I think this is a little cooperation going on. Tony needs to be a little more conservative. He doesn't want to hurt his tires. He doesn't want to be pursued or hounded by Robbie, so he let him go.
But with Robbie Gordon out front, Robbie needs to back it off just a little bit. Remember what brought him to pit road? He had a tire problem a while ago.
Little cat and mouse going on right now. I think everybody's playing games with tires in the back of their mind.
Well, Stewart leading the race, but he's not the fastest car on the racetrack. His lead is now cut to 0.8 of a second over Denny Hamlin and Greg Biffle. Now the 17 of Kenseth is 1 lap down. He made an unscheduled pit stop, and right now he is in the free pass position.
Yeah, that's Robbie Gordon's worst enemy right now. I think that's the reason Robbie wanted to try to get that lap back the hard way. Then there's no question, regardless of what Matt Kenseth does, then he still gets his lap back, Robbie Gordon.
Dick?
Well, there was a bit of a deal that was made under caution between Tony Stewart and Robbie Gordon. Stewart basically figured if he was going to be faster, go ahead, let him go. Help him if he could, and he did.
Makes good sense at this stage of the race. We're only 138 laps in, 187 to go.
And you got to believe the airwaves from the pits to these cars right now are burning up with what we're seeing for tire situation here.
Our points leader, Jimmy Johnson, in the 48 car, he moves into the top 5 for the first time today. He drives by Casey Kane in the 9. That now puts him in the 5th position. I think the 48 car is taking the attitude today. Let's race the elements for about 300 laps, and then we'll see where we're at.
Yeah, I kind of like this. When there's a tire situation, you kind of set a pace. Figure out how hard can I run without having any problems, and then let the competition come back to me.
Been talking about the 2 Robert Yates racing cars a lot today. They are up in the top 10 right behind Casey Kane in the 9. You see the 38 of Elliott Sadler right here. Right behind him, about a second back, is Dale Jarrett, that 88 UPS car.
Yeah, Jarrett's just kind of quietly moved up into the top 10. Now, on the front spot, Denny Hamlin is not being the least bit quiet. He wants to challenge his teammate Stewart for the lead.
Again, I just believe what we're seeing here is a driver like Tony Stewart got all that experience, says, look, I can't run this hard right now. We know there's a situation going on here. You go ahead.
But out in front of Denny Hamlin, Matt Kenseth in the 17, he drove by both these guys, so he's now on the tail end of the lead lap, just like Robbie Gordon. What Robbie Gordon and Matt Kenseth in the 17, they don't need to race each other. They're exactly where they need to be right now.
Scott Wimmer made a pit stop. He's back out on track. And what about Greg Biffle, who's trying to overcome some woes on pit road and get back up to the lead, Matt?
Mike, the concern has grown here in the 16 pit of Biffle. About 5 laps ago, came on the radio, told Doug Richard, because I'm starting to get really tight for some reason. Doug asked him, do you have a vibration? Biffle said, oh yeah. Now remember, the concern was whether he flat spotted those front tires off that turn 2 incident. Now the right front that came off his car on the last stop had about a 1-inch band near the shoulder all the way around that right front where he was worn that tire down to the cord. So Doug was going to tell him when they reached the lap 35 mark of this run, so that way Biffle could be a little more cautious.
Thanks, Matt. Biffle's in 3rd, 1 second behind the leader. There they are. Here's the answer to our second singular virtual crew chief question. Will Dodge win for the first time since 1977? 1 out of 3 of you said yes. Well, we have 3 different makes competing, so that kind of lines up pretty well.
Yeah.
They only really have one guy up there that's a possibility, Casey Kane in the 9.
Remember, when you participate in singular virtual crew chief, you're entered to win Jeff Burton's payday, July in Daytona. Gotta wonder if you're J.D. Gibbs, the head of this race team, you got your 2 cars fighting for the lead. Is that a good thing?
Makes your fingernails short.
And a couple of cars bounce off the wall and just keep on going. Tony Stewart's lead now 1 second. Greg Biffle just wore out the rear of Denny Hamlin's car. Finally, Hamlin moved up and let him go. Biffle's now in 2nd place.
About 152 laps ago, we talked about our FedEx racetracks. Tires, beware the right rear. Well, we've had a lot of right front problems, so we've covered that one. Green racetrack adjustments. We definitely have seen comers and goers. And don't beat yourself in the pits, and that would mean the 99 car, who is now 11 laps down, who had a car early in the race that probably could have won this thing.
Clint Boyer, one of the 7 rookies in this race, had a great day going. Here he is behind Mark Martin. Just ran out of track.
Well, he runs out of track because he had no air. The 6 car was taking air off the nose, and it picked up a real bad push.
He has not made a pit stop. Boyer continues, though he has dropped to 24th.
I'll tell you what, this is going to be survival today. Just stay out of trouble, keep all your fenders intact, and probably come out here with a pretty decent finish.
I tell you what, this car here, they definitely made this car better on their last pit stop, which was about 35 laps ago. Jeff Gordon in the 24, he just drove by Elliott Sadler, He's up to the 6th position. Here you see Kurt Busch in the 2 car. We knew it was only a matter of time before he had to come to pit road. He was involved in that situation off turn 2. He tried to limp it around there, hopefully get a caution. Finally comes to pit road. Kurt Busch in the 2.
Busch had been told to pick up his speed or pit. He was below the NASCAR mandated minimum. Dick?
Oh, he had dropped all the way back to the 32nd spot, Mike. And the big problem, of course, is that this is such a high-speed racetrack that you get any damage at all to the nose of the car, or in this case, even some of the side of the car, and it really impedes the car's ability to go fast. What a shame. Busch had run way up front early in this event. The pit stops had been absolutely flawless. They had the car dialed in just right, but a brief encounter with the wall, and it's problem time for Mr. Busch.
And that's what I meant right before we went to break when I was talking about the Dodgers. Dodge had some good race cars here today. Besides Casey Kane, you had Kurt Busch that had the problem off turn 2. Ryan Newman had the tire problem, and Bobby Labonte in the 43, who led this race and then had the engine expire about 50 laps into it.
Tell you, our little buddy here, Junebug, he's doing a pretty good job right now. He's running 9th. He's chasing down Mark Martin up there in the 6th car. He's been running about wherever, he's running a low line here right now because he sees that car in front of him that he wanted to try to clear. That's Elliott Sadler, so they're doing a good. His car has really come around for him.
And Darrell, he restarted back in 23rd, but I think this is what we're going to have to watch with him as we see he's moved all the way up against the wall at both ends of the racetrack. Is he was good 30 to 35 laps of that last run. Where he really faded was the last 10 or 15 laps of the run.
And that's something you can work on. If you just keep working at it, you get a couple more laps every run, every pit stop, increase the length of that long run.
8th place he takes away from Sadler.
Yeah, and he was right up there racing Mark Martin a little bit ago.
The other DEI cars, Truex is in 11th, and Paul Menard has had a good day going. He is 17th.
And right now, Dale Earnhardt Jr. is chasing this car right here, Mark Martin in the 6th car. But here's where we're at. We're basically 40 laps into this run. We're about 15 to 20 laps from what would be a green flag stop. This is when we started having some issues earlier.
Jeff Burton, Jeff Gordon, 5th and 6th. And this is a big pickup for Gordon from where he ran the first third of this race.
They have definitely made that car better, Steve Letarte in that 24 group.
It's the beauty part about most of these teams. You give them enough caution flags, they'll get you dialed in.
Now you see the gap lowering to race leader Tony Stewart in the graphic in the upper left. These two cars are closing in slowly on the race leader, whose times have dropped off to right at 32 seconds. Jimmy Johnson at 4th place, about a second ahead of the last battle and 2 seconds back of the lead. Our point leader, he's about to close right up on Denny Hamlin for 3rd.
That car looks to be awfully good on long runs. You can see right there in the middle of the corner how much ground he made up on Denny Hamlin here in the 11. So I'm going to go by Bill Lester, the 23 car right now as we approach the halfway point of this race. Bill's in 36th, 2 laps down to our leader. But that's okay. Bill's doing what he needed to do.
That's good. Run all day. Keeping his nose clean, not doing anything, just out there putting down laps. That's what Bill needs right now.
You see Kurt Busch in the 2 car. That's new tires versus old tires. He's able just to drive by Jeff Burton in the 31. But right now, Kurt Busch is 4 laps down in that 2 car after the problem off of 2 and then making a green flag stop.
We'll be halfway next time by. Greg Biffle in the yellow Ford there trying to eat into Tony Stewart's lead of 1.6 seconds, Matt.
Mike, Doug Richard just told Biffle we are over 40 laps into this run. Just be patient. We'll start working on a game plan to try to free up the race car in the next stop. Biffle said about 5 laps ago, just to let you know, you may want to take a look at the right side. I grazed the wall coming out of turn 4, probably left some paint there, but he's not the only one. The 07 of Boyer, he tagged the wall as well, says the steering wheel is not straight, meaning the car has a messed up front end alignment.
Yeah, Boyer hit it pretty hard. Watch the 11 of Denny Hamlin here.
Yikes. Little slick in the middle.
Once again, old tires and still trying to maintain speeds well over 180 miles per hour. Caution is on the speedway.
That's good news for Robbie Gordon and Matt Kenseth.
They will be back on the lead lap. You see the piece of aluminum there up in the high groove. Talked about Clint Boyer. The 07 could be part of his crush pad.
That 7 car, Larry, had driven off and left our leader, Tony Stewart, and Matt Kenseth, who was on the tail end of the lead lap. He was long gone.
This caution, good news for Michael Waltrip, Robbie Gordon, Clint Boyer, and Matt Kenseth, who were all running at the tail end of the lead lap. And better news yet for Casey Mears. Mears is the free pass car, and his Texaco Dodge will move back up on the lead lap as we work the 5th caution flag of the day.
And for all those guys like Greg Biffle starting to feel things in their car and their tires, it's good news for them too, a debris caution. I'm going to tell you what, though, we talked about, we're riding with Michael Waltrip here. We talked about Dale Earnhardt Jr. He'd made his way all the way up to the 6th position in that 8 car on that run. We're riding with him here.
And that's quite a climb, because that car, the first half of the race, as we saw from the in-car, looked pretty loose, pretty evil.
Now it's up to his crew to do the job on pit road for him.
Kind of looked like it had the worst scenario, pushing and loose, like it pushed itself loose, because you see him jacking on the wheel when we're inside the car looking at him, hands on the wheel.
A lot of Chevrolets up there right now. We only have 1 Ford in the top 7. The rest is Chevrolets.
All the lead lap cars will pit. Here's Matt.
Tony Stewart brings him down pit road. His team had a great stop last time in, picked him up 4 spots. As we head into the triples, Greg Biffle slides to a stop again into his pit. They're going to reverse. He's in the middle of your screen. Reverse the wedge adjustment they made out in the previous stop. They're trying to free him up. Meanwhile, Stewart says the car got a lot better when he went up to the high side. Doesn't really want much adjustment. Steve?
Matt, little air pressure out of the left rear tire for Jeff Burton. He says he needs just a little bit more help turning well. Dick?
Jeff Gordon had worked his way up to 7th position, said on the radio that the car was much better, just starting to get a little bit tight at the end of that run. Another nice pit stop. Gordon's gone.
There you see the race off pit road. Tony Stewart gains the 1 position. He'll take the lead going off pit road. Jamie McMurray in the 26 car gains 2, but we talked about Dale Earnhardt Jr. The 8 car lost 2 positions. He'll go from 6th to 8th. There you see the times on pit road, including the stop. Dale Earnhardt Jr., Martin Truex Jr., and the one, his teammate, the losers that time.
Just past halfway at Atlanta in the Golden Corral 500. Here they come out of turn 4 for the restart with 169 laps complete. Stewart, Biffle, Johnson, Hamlin, and Burton. As they head for turn 1, give that volume knob a crank, and we'll crank this one up for you. Biffle for the lead.
I'll tell you what, that car was so strong from the middle out after that restart. Greg Biffle in the 16 car, he just drives by Tony Stewart in the 20. I tell you what, the car they better watch just keeps coming, a little past halfway, right behind them. Jimmy Johnson in that 48 car, he is a coming.
A lot of these guys, Larry, I think are building confidence. Some of these guys are coming in, they're not having any tire issues. They see they don't have any problems. It's really helping them step up their game.
Talk about Greg Biffle, confidence. He just ran the fastest lap he's running this race a lap ago, lap 171.
Jamie McMurray in the 26 just moved into the top 10 for the first time today. Check that, he's 11th, one spot back. He was in the top 10 a lap ago. Casey Kane took the spot.
But he started back in 34th position. I know when they tried to get ready to race, they tried the setup that Carl Edwards ran here a year ago. Jamie said, look, I know it worked for Carl Edwards. It's just not working for me in this Irwin 2 car.
Truex and Menard in that pack. Wait till next week when we get to Bristol. 500 laps. Like flying jet fighters inside a gymnasium.
Tempers will flare.
But yeah, with Martin Truex Jr. in the 1 car, Paul Menard in the 15 car, we've got all the DEI cars up there. Remember, Robbie Gordon in the 7, Darrell, you and I were talking at break, runs a DEI engine as well.
Tell you one thing, Robbie Gordon is on the move.
Brent Sherman, the 49, is a lap down as Truex moves past and goes after Elliott Sadler for 14th. Comers and goers, Darrell.
Yeah, well, I think, again, that's just that adjustment you make and looking at your tires and saying, okay, we don't have a problem. Okay, we do have a problem. And there's Robbie Gordon. He restarted at the back of the pack. He's running in 26th spot, but I tell you, he is putting them down.
And who has the overall fastest lap of this race? Robbie Gordon.
I could see why, man. He went down to 3 there or turn 2 while ago and just blew by about 6 at one time.
And we've got a long way to go. He just needs to be patient here, be on top of his game as he catches cars. We got a lot more pit stops, a lot more laps to go.
Watch him run the back of that pack down right there, Larry. I mean, he has been coming after these guys right here in a hurry.
Dick Bergman.
Now, Robbie Gordon just came on the radio a few moments ago, Mike, and said that the car is awesome. He's got a bit of a love affair with this place. On the old configuration, the very first time, Robbie Gordon never sat in a big-time stock car. It was in an ARCA race here, and believe it or not, he won the pole for that very first start. His only career Cup pole here, the old configuration, just before they changed it to this one. So it doesn't matter what the shape of the place is. Robbie Gordon comes to Atlanta, he's fast.
Just ahead of him, 2 lead lap cars. Scott Riggs of Valvoline 10 just in front of Gordon, and Kyle Petty with a new sponsor this week, National Tire and Battery, on the Petty number 45. And Kyle has been a lead lap car all day.
And you see that yellow car there, the 17 car. He's also, you know, he got his lap back there a while ago, and he's coming back up through the field as well. How about it, Steve?
I was just talking to some of the guys on the 45 pit, DW, and they said that, you know, Kyle was running really well. He had moved up into the 17th position, but right now, this set of tires they just put on, a little bit too tight.
Bill Lester just made a pass of Brian Newman. Now Newman goes back after him. Lester in the 23, the Waste Management Dodge from Bill Davis Racing, has pretty much run the high side all day long.
Yeah, and really and truly, he has one goal today. That's to run all day, and he's trying to do that. He's doing a really good job so far. Just remain patient, stay focused.
Best finish at Atlanta by an African-American driver, Wendell Scott. Had 2 top 10 finishes here, including one of 7th place back in the 1960s, for which he took home $1,350. Scott had 1 victory. It came on the short track at Jacksonville in 1963. There's a DVD available called The Wendell Scott Story, narrated by Senator John Warner and produced by Warner's son, that is a great story of the successes and what Wendell Scott had to endure in his years as a NASCAR regular.
I was here in 1964, one of the first races I ever had been to, Cup races. Wendell's car comes in the pit. It's a hot day. It was in July. He gets out of the car, he and 2 of his sons. He works on the car. They change the tires. He gets back in and drives down pit road. And I look, and where I used to put on the side of the car's mechanic and a name, it had mechanic, me. And he did that all the time. He'd get out and work on the car, go back out and race some more.
Scott owned a repair shop in Danville, Virginia. Raced his own number 34 throughout his entire career.
tell you what, Casey Mears, that 42 car, you know, comes in here with 3 top 10 finishes in 2006. Had a good qualifying run. Actually ended up qualifying 10th on Friday. Got the free pass, but has his hands full back to the 27th position. But I'm going to tell you, the recovery of the day has been Kyle Busch in that 5 car. Remember, early in the race, back on lap 42, he had the cut tire, couldn't get the pit road. Finally got the pit road, went a lap down, and basically has fought his way and clawed his way back to the 9th position in the top 10, the 5 car of Kyle Busch.
That's a great recovery.
Greg Biffle has 9/10 of a second on Tony Stewart. He's not exactly walking away with this one. Jimmy Johnson, Denny Hamlin, Jeff Burton, and Jeff Gordon and Dale Earnhardt Jr. all within striking distance. In the Waste Management Chevy, something locks up that left front.
I got to believe that the tire was going down and something has caused it to lock up that left front wheel. Like maybe part of the tire is hung up in there somehow.
Hung up in the brake or between the rotor and the caliper. Sterling in the 14, he was still on the lead lap.
6th caution flag of the day. Scott Wimmer in the Aero exhaust number 4 will get the free pass and will become the 31st car on the lead lap.
It's basically been about 20 laps since these cars were to pit road. We've still got, including Scott Wimmer, we'll have 31 cars on the lead lap. We anticipate everyone will be to pit road for more tires and adjustments.
Larry, you might make it from here on one more stop.
I don't know if you can make it on one more set of tires, though.
Exactly. Greg Biffle leads everybody onto pit road in front of Matt.
And Biffle really likes how his race car reacted, only on 18 green flag laps, but he was very pleased with the progress they've made. Calling at this juncture no changes for Biffle. Meanwhile, Stewart said not enough time to really see if they've made enough headway, but possible battery issues, switching to the backup battery once they go green. Steve?
151 races between wins for Jeff Burton. Matt, they're going to put air back in the left rear. Jeff Burton saying he's lost rear grip. Dick?
4-time winner here in Atlanta, Jeff Gordon, is on pit road right now. Car is just a little tiny bit too loose. This crew has done a great job dialing that automobile in. Gordon has a car fast enough he could win the race today.
A big gain for Jeff Gordon coming off pit road.
Yeah, got a pit crew fast enough to win it too, man. That's a great stop.
Also, Kyle Busch, his teammate, gaining 3 spots, as well as Casey Kane in the 9 car. Both those cars gaining 3 spots. Jeff Green in the 66 cracking the top 10, but the real gains, Jeff Gordon and Tony Stewart. But I want to tell you what, we had a close call on pit road as Greg Biffle in the 16 was leaving his pits. Our race leader, you can see right here, Tony Stewart, the 20, inches over. Greg Biffle all the way out into that wet grass. Mighty close call there as we've got 136 laps to go.
Good decision on Biffle's part, though, not to push the issue on pit road. Let Tony get in line. You got a fast car.
And a problem in the pits of Robbie Gordon. One crew member down after their stop. NASCAR officials and the Atlanta medical crew working with him, and we'll update you when we come back. 190 laps complete. Terry Labonte in the DLP HDTV Chevrolet is our leader. Atlanta, tense moment in Robbie Gordon's pit. John Schlesser, the catch can man, was upended. He is conscious, talking with the caregivers. They put him on a backboard as a precaution. Let's show you what happened right here. That's Reed Sorensen's car, the green car.
You see him waving.
And he gets upended by Sorensen, pulling out of his pit. And we have another angle of it. Watch the right side of your screen.
It's the guy with the arm up waving right there, which signals that car's full of fuel.
There he goes, up in the air.
But he gave a thumbs up to the caregivers there at the scene. They now have him on a backboard and stabilized, and Going to take him to the care center, and we'll provide further updates as they become available. We're under caution at lap 193. Terry Labonte is your leader here in Atlanta. Broadcast race. Just go to foxsports.com, keyword UPS. Here's a Visa race break. Carl Edwards trying to win 3 in a row here at Atlanta. Something no driver has ever done. Win 3 straight. And something that likely won't happen today, as Carl's first problem was exiting his pit right into the path of Dave Blaney, who was trying to get into his pit. That damaged the right front. See that brace underneath that's loose, as well as the damage to the sheet metal. Lost a little bit of bare bond that they tried to smooth out the aerodynamics, but then something cut down the right front tire on Edwards' car. They've had to make multiple repairs and even fit a new nose piece to the right front of that car and get everything nailed down. As a result, Edwards is 12 laps down in the Office Depot Ford with 129 laps to go. This has been a Visa race break. No matter what it takes, life takes Visa.
Well, I think it's safe to say it all started with the wreck on pit road. Everything that has happened after that, it goes back to that situation. Tony Stewart in the 20 car, our leader right now. Now, he won the battle off pit road, but Greg Biffle has been so strong on the restarts.
Get back to green in a moment here. Let's get out to Dick Berggren for this State Farm safety report.
Well, here's a tool that every single crew has got in their toolbox, and it is a jack stand. And before anybody gets underneath one of the race cars, this is, by the way, out of the 24 car, jack stand goes underneath it. Good idea at home as well. Never get under your car without a jack stand. Yours truly can tell you they do fall. I had a jack stand. That's why I'm still here.
For more safety info, log on to foxsports.com. $129 laps to go as Tony Stewart, Greg Biffle, Jeff Gordon, and Jimmy Johnson lead them back to green.
I think that old 24 car has got his act together. They adjusted on that car today, and that bad boy's up there. Flames and all.
And I think the closer you put Jeff Gordon to the front, the more he's going to work toward the front.
He likes Atlanta.
Boy, it looked like Tony Stewart just laid over and gave Greg Biffle the bottom shot.
Well, we talked about it right before that restart. Greg Biffle has just been so strong on the restart before they even complete one lap.
But I like the race Tony's running today. I have not seen him pressure. When somebody pressures him, he lets them go. He's not racing on holding them up. They're not messing with him. He's not messing with them. I think he's driving a really smart race.
So he's trying hard not to beat himself today.
I think you're right, Larry. That's what I really see.
Casey Kane, number 9 at 9th place.
That 66 car, guys. Now he's in a 10th spot here, and he has been kind of methodically working himself up into a top 10 position.
Jeff Green, yeah, I mean, he started way back in the field, started back in 39th, and he's been working his way forward all day long. It's taken him 200 laps, but he's cracked the top 10.
Well, I mean, maybe it's that show you and he and Doug Rickard and you guys do. Maybe you passed on some information he could use.
Sharing information.
Sharing.
I tell you, another car that was in trouble when they dropped the race, the car right behind him, Joe Nemechek in the 01 Army car. Had a pretty good qualifying run, but he was one of those guys, his car was terrible when he started the race, but now he's worked his way back up to the 11th position.
Mark Martin on the inside of Bill Lester. Martin now the 12th place car, and J.J. Yaley, another of those cars that started strong and has kind of faded, trying to work his way back.
I'm keeping my fingers crossed for Bill Lester, but he has done a yeoman's job today of putting himself not in anybody's way, not in harm's way, riding that high line, getting a lot of good experience.
But what he's doing on these restarts, especially when he's in this big of a pack of cars, he's gaining respect, but he's also earning respect as well.
Yeah, he's not causing any kind of problem whatsoever. He's racing hard, but he's keeping everybody in sight.
3rd place, the 2 Hendrick cars battle.
with the RCR car. Jeff Burton were riding with him in the 31 car right in the mix as well. Jeff's been up there in the top 5, top 10 almost all day long in that 31 car.
Well, the other Hendrick car, the 5, is just right there behind them too. So all of a sudden the Hendrick boys have showed their cards.
Dick Berggren.
Yeah, Kyle Busch just came on the radio, Mike, and said his car is perfect. What a comeback from losing that lap as a result of a flat tire earlier in this race.
His car yesterday, or Saturday, Dick, was perfect, sitting there leading the race and blew that right rear tire out. So I think barring any tire trouble, that guy, he's got a car that they're going to have to deal with.
Now let's update you on 2 cars that had problems almost simultaneously. One of them being Robbie Gordon in the 7 car. Roughly about 85 laps ago, he had a car in the top 5, had a tire issue. He made a pit stop 3 or 4 laps later. The caution came out. Now he has worked his way back up to the 18th position. He's still got about 123 laps to go. You see him right there, 7.5 seconds behind our leader. Just needs to be some patience. Looks like Jeff Green in the 66. Yeah. We just talked about him. He's on pit road.
Having a great run.
And Robbie Gordon in the 7 kind of cashed in on that a little bit, gained him several positions. But the other car we were going to talk about is the one right behind him, Matt Kenseth. Almost simultaneously when Robbie Gordon had his problem, Matt Kenseth came to pit road, pitted under green, got burnt by the caution, got back on the lead lap, and look at them. They're moving forward right together back on the lead lap. Robbie Gordon and Matt Kenseth.
Looked like the 66, Larry, had a left side tire down.
Somebody scraped the wall right in front of that camera. Not sure who. Bad news for the rest of this field. Greg Biffle just ran his fastest lap, the fastest lap of this whole race.
29.65. That would have qualified him up in the top 25 on Friday night, qualifying trim under the lights.
I think the quote of maybe the year last year was Biffle here after the race last year when he led the race all day long and then got beaten at the end by Jimmy Johnson and his teammate Carl Edwards. Biffle got out of the car and he said, sickest day of my life.
Yeah, because with 5 laps to go, we saw the replay yesterday. You folks at home did too. With 5 to go, it looked like Biffle was going to pass them both and win that race.
We've been talking about the Dodges all day long, all the Dodges that were running up front that have had problems. One that has not had a problem, Casey Kane in that 9 car, our pole sitter. He just drove by Denny Hamlin in the 11. That was a battle for 8th.
And look at the little 8 car, the old Bud wagon. She's sitting there looking pretty good. Got all the Clydesdales working today. Whoa, man, he got high down there then, though.
Had to play toss and catch it there, Darrell.
I don't think he liked that. Jumped the cushion. Threw a shoe.
Need to update you on Jeff Green that had just made it in the top 10. Matt Yoakum was telling us he had loose lugs after that pit stop.
And Robbie Gordon just caught this pack. He's in the number 7. And just started to slice right through them. He's getting a tremendous launch off turn number 2.
Those are good race cars. He's just driving around. Every time he catches them, he just drives right around them.
Yeah, Matt Kenseth says, Robbie, you poked a hole, I'll follow you.
Well, this is where Robbie has to really
look at that run.
Dig down and not make any mistakes because he wants to get back to the front, and he is doing it, but just be careful.
He is so fast getting down in the corner through the middle.
Dick?
Early on in the race, Robbie Gordon thought he had an engine problem, thought even it was in the valve train. He was that careful in diagnosing it. But after a pit stop, changing tires, guess what? The engine problem went away. The vibration was in the tires. All is well on car number 7.
Got that right, Dick. That bad boy's getting up.
But you know, Darrell, this is a Robbie Gordon type of racetrack. Just drive that thing down in the corner, mash that throttle, come on.
You got that right.
Well, we try to clean things up here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. This is what Jeff Green's crew thought of that wheel. A loose lug nut. You can see the holes are no longer round. They're elongated from the vibration. Send that one to Waste Management.
What is our theory? We don't have bad wheels and tires. We just do bad things to them.
They did bad things to that one. They didn't get them all tight. And they had a great pit stop.
Yes, they did.
Now we know why.
Jimmy Johnson has moved to 2nd, past Tony Stewart, and now is 2.2 seconds behind Greg Biffle. Johnson is running just about identical lap times, and they are the two fastest cars on the racetrack, other than Casey Kane and Robbie Gordon.
Boy, Jimmy Johnson is becoming very cagey, isn't he? Just kind of lurks back there, looming in the background. But man, when it gets down near the end of these races, you look up and you say, whoa, where'd he come from?
If you're a baseball fan, you'll remember way back when Wally Pipp was the first baseman for the Yankees. He got sick. Who'd they put in? A young kid named Lou Gehrig, who played first for the Yankees forever. What about Chad Knaus? Here's this Darian Grubb has sat on the pit box. Johnson's having a near record start to the season. When Chad comes back, and he will come back next week, his suspension will be over. Then what for Darian Grubb?
Yeah, well, I got to believe it. They're going to be thinking, oh, we got the 8 car on pit road, guys.
Dick?
Well, Junior thinks he's got a flat right front tire, Mike. Problem is that the right front was bouncing off the ground. They couldn't figure out why that would happen unless they had lost air pressure. So they're going to bring him in right now, put tires on at least the right side. This may or may not be a 4-tire stop, but at least the right sides are going to be changed.
If it's not flat, I think it's when he got real high down here in 1 and 2. He either run over something and cut it down, or he got a lot of debris build up on it and making him think it's something wrong with it. Rights
only for Junior. But Larry, Darian Grubb, when he hops down off the top of that pit box, his phone's going to be ringing.
Well, there's no question. I had him on our radio show last Wednesday night, and I said, Darian, if nothing else, I've got to believe this has given you the confidence that put me in the right situation. I can do this. And you know what? He didn't hesitate saying, oh, yeah.
What a great start.
And you don't blame him.
Yes.
Well, I think it also just shows the strength, and it also is a great observation. You got to have a backup. You can't put all your eggs in one basket. These teams have got to have backups, and there's a good example.
Depth chart, just like in football.
Right.
Dick Berggren on Dale Jr.
They got it right, Mike. That tire, the right front, had a cut in it.
So right now he's going to be a lap down, and he's racing cars like David Strimmy, Dave Blaney, Jeff Green to be that first car lap down, where when the caution comes out, if the caution comes out, he'll get the free pass back on the lead lap.
I think if I was riding along out there, my crew chief and I'd be saying, now when we have a tire problem, because it's almost like everybody's going to have one.
Darrell, I think it points out even more maybe the smart race that Tony Stewart is running. He is not challenging people for position. He's taking care of his equipment. And as we said, if this is a harder compound tire and it has problems when you slide the tire, if Tony's taking care of his race car, he may be one of those that doesn't have any problems.
He is racing the way a champion races. Big picture racing. I got to get through today with no problems, clean, no bent up fenders, no ill feelings. I think that's the kind of race he's running today, and I like it.
I'm going to tell you what, this is a great race car. Robbie Gordon in 7, he has cracked the top 10. Darrell, I just hope he's not trying to overextend his equipment right here. He's got a race car that could contend for this win. Don't run the wheels off here with over 100 laps to go.
Well, let me tell you, that dude came from a lap down all by himself. He didn't get the lucky dog. No. He drove by the leaders, got a caution, got back on the lead lap. He has come through this entire field, and there he sits in 9th place and closing.
Now, while the 31 and the 20 was racing side by side, Casey Kane in the 9, he caught him, drove by Tony Stewart, working the high side where he likes to work, the high side of Jeff Burton, the 31. He'll probably prevail by the time they get to turn 1.
And Kane right now in the number 9 is about 1/10 of a second quicker than race leader Greg Biffle. Hardly anybody's been quicker than Biffle today. Speaking of Biffle, here's Matt.
He's got about a 15 car length lead over the 48 of Jimmy Johnson, Mike. And Greg Biffle really hasn't said a whole lot on the radio, but if you want to mark it down.
Turn 1, guys. I'm sorry. Got a car
Go
around.
ahead, D.
Got a car around, buddy.
It is Clint Boyer.
The 07 car.
Sorry, Matty, but he was spinning up in front of a bunch of cars. Looked like it was going to get ugly.
7th caution of the day, lap 221. Boyer with a little damage earlier. Turns it around, and everybody will come to pit road once again.
I don't think there was anybody around him. He's got a flat left front tire. I don't know if that's what caused it or not.
And in the I'd rather be lucky than good department, or a little bit of both, The free pass goes to Dale Jr.
See right there, it just came around on him.
There were several cars here that I
Reed
thought
Sorensen, yeah.
Thought they were going to get involved.
That was a close call. There were a lot of cars coming at him.
Like I said, he's got a left front tire flat. I'm not sure if that's what caused that or not. It could very well have been.
.105 laps to go, and still it might be a stretch to try to go from here on just one more stop from tires. We'll see. Matt?
Now Johnson will pull out before Greg Biffle in the 16. His team is telling Biffle to angle out a little bit. That way you'll help your exit try to get around the 18 of Yaley. Meanwhile, they're going to make a track bar adjustment, mostly loose on that last run, as the 38 almost bumps into the back of the 21, Steve.
Well, Matt, as Larry Mack said, Jeff Burton has been in the top 5 all day. Burton telling crew chief Scott Miller, give me a little bit more grip, just a little. It took a little bit of air out of that right rear tire. Dick?
Well, Jeff Gordon had been running in the 6th position when the caution flag fell. Didn't like the behavior of the car toward the end of that run. Said it was a little bit too loose. Had dropped a couple of spots. Another nice pit stop by his crew. Gordon's back out with a car that they have adjusted to be a little bit tighter to try to fix his problems.
I'm going to tell you what, who the real winner was on that pit stop. I think Casey Kane in the 9 car. We talked about his pit selection right there just at the very exit of pit road. But you see right there, pretty much most of our top guys dead even. They went out where they came in. Greg Biffle right there, Mark Martin. Those teams having the quickest time on pit road.
Let's have a look at our All-State's good hands driver for today. By unanimous acclaim, the folks in the production truck watch the 41, Reed Sorensen, come through here. Right on the right of your screen as Boyer has his problem. He was looking low, juked high, and scooted away.
You could see smoke coming off his tires where he was sliding the car on the brakes.
Nice move for Sorensen. He's our All-State good hands driver, All-State official insurance partner of NASCAR. 104 laps to go. Can they make it on one more stop? Will they have to? It's the Golden Corral 500. For the restart, the crewman that was upended on Robbie Gordon's team has been treated and released. They put him on the backboard complaining of back and neck pain, but they've checked him out and he is okay. Boy, that's good news since he got upended. Greg Biffle brings them down for the restart with point leader Jimmy Johnson in tow.
Jeff Green, that blue car on the inside, the 66. Remember, he had made his way into the top 10, and after that pit stop before this one had the loose lugs. Went a lap down after making a green flag stop. He'd love to stay right there where he's at. Hopefully get the free pass if a caution comes out.
A lot of 3 wide on these restarts.
We see Denny Hamlin in the 11 car. He went to the high side, made it 3 wide through the middle of 3 and 4. Denny up there in the 9th position.
You can get 3 wide in the middle, but you better about be 2 wide coming off.
It's like running into a funnel.
Gots to have some room.
Speaking of room, Jimmy Johnson in that 48 car, he moved to the high side that last time through turn 2. He got a pretty good run down the backstretch. He's going to pull right onto the rear bumper, Greg Biffle in the 16.
Some guys back here, interested spectators watching that little group right back there.
Casey Kane in the 9, Jeff Burton 31, Tony Stewart the 20, Jeff Gordon, and Kyle Busch.
Shame about the 66 car. He was up in the top 10 there just before they had to make that unscheduled stop.
You can tell Jeff Green has a good race car in that 66. He's hanging right up there amongst the top 5.
Well, we've seen a couple of guys get their laps back. Robbie Gordon, Matt Kenseth, by passing the leaders. Those old engines are singing, aren't they, Larry?
Yes, they are.
Man, oh man,
especially after a restart.
500 miles, 3.5 hours of just hammering on them.
Well, in fact, Jimmy Johnson and Casey Kane running 2nd and 3rd, the 48.9, they just ran their fastest lap of the race. Business picking up as we're under 100 laps to go.
And not only do they have to run 500 miles a day in the race, they've got about 100 miles on them from practice. So one engine the whole weekend. I don't know how that's working out in Formula One. Looked like they're having a little problem over there, but it works out great for us.
These teammates right here, Jeff Gordon in the 24. We've been talking about Kyle Busch in the 5. Look at the run he gets on the high side. This group right here is battling for the 6th position. What a recovery for this 5 car.
And you see on the Fox tracks, they're not losing any ground to the leader either.
This is where that run, look at the run right there. I think Jeff Gordon actually had to get out of the throttle. Kyle Busch in the 5 didn't get out of the throttle.
I don't think Jeff Gordon was real happy with his teammate being right up on his back bumper. Yikes.
Close call between Joe Nemechek in the Army Chevy and Bill Lester in the 23.
But you know what, Darrell, and I go back to Las Vegas last week where Tony Stewart was mad at Kyle Busch in the 5 for racing him hard. Jeff Gordon may be ill right there because Kyle Busch was up on his rear bumper. I mean, what are these guys supposed to do? This is about racing.
You know, I thought about that, and I can remember Richard Petty and some of those guys used to get mad at me because I wanted to race all the time. They wanted to ride, I wanted to race. And sometimes we didn't agree on all that. But young guys are just that way. They want to go. They want to go fast.
Of course, ride is a relative term at over 180 miles an hour. Speaking of the two that had the discussion last week, Kyle Busch is closing in on Tony Stewart.
Well, if you've had a lot of success, then, you know, leading a race may not be a big deal to you. But when you're just getting started, you know, kind of making a name for yourself, leading a lap in a Nextel Cup race is a big deal. So I want to get up there and do it.
Tell you what, that 5, though, Kyle Busch, he is closing a bunch on Tony Stewart in the 20. Where he's making so much ground is where he passed his teammate Jeff Gordon a while ago. It'll be right here on that high side off turn 2.
Second place. Casey Kane closed right up on Jimmy Johnson. Now they have dropped 0.7 of a second behind Greg Biffle.
While they've been racing each other, you see that orange car, Jeff Burton in the 31. He's been there since the start of the race, qualified up in the top 5. He's caught these two.
And boy, can just look what a difference a year or so is making for Burton in that 31 car. Here he is, first time since a couple of years ago that he's even in the top 10 in points. He just won the Busch race here on Saturday. What a resurgence, not just for his team, but for him as well.
Yeah, Jeff Burton made the comment after the Busch race on Saturday. He said Mark Martin told him every time you go to victory lane, treat it like it's your last trip. He said, I was beginning to understand what he was saying.
Yeah, I want to go to the school he went to, that driving school.
Greg Biffle, 0.8 of a second up on Casey Kane in the Golden Corral 500. Jeff Gordon is moving forward. Jimmy Johnson and Tony Stewart have each dropped a spot, so put Gordon in 4th behind this battle for the front spot. Casey Kane has caught Greg Biffle with 84 laps to go.
Explain that thing about the school I was talking about that Burton went to.
Jeff Burton. Yeah.
You know, when you can't drive or when things don't go well, and all of a sudden people start saying, "Oh, he can't drive anymore. He's kind of over the hill." All of a sudden you get a good car and your team comes around and you start running good again. I just wonder where the driver had to go to school to learn how to drive that well again.
Greg Biffle about to be caught by Casey Kane. Matt?
Biffle trying to be cautious. Mike came on the radio, lap 235. Says he feels like a right rear possibly going down. Also has a vibration. The crew guys are ready in case he has to hit pit road early.
Yeah, because we're not even halfway through this run. They pitted basically about 22 laps ago, so we still got a good 35 or 40 laps to go on this run here.
Dick?
Yeah, and Ray Evernham just came into Casey Kane's ear and reminded him that there are a lot of laps to go in this race. Kane really got going on about lap 163 when they pulled a spring rubber out of the right rear. That was the big adjustment. Remember, he had dropped back out of the top 5 for a lot of laps, but he's got a good car now.
See, a team that has just lost the handle on it. They haven't kept up with their adjustments here late in the race. Tony Stewart in the 20, Mark Martin in the 6 just drives by him for the 6th spot. And there you see right behind Tony in that 20 car, those two cars that's been running together now for about 200 laps. Matt Kenseth in the 17, Robbie Gordon in the 7. They're now back up in the top 10.
You know, Larry, I believe that 9 car, Casey Kane, I just believe that Kenny Francis has really made a difference in not just the car, but in the driver. I think there's a real camaraderie relationship there, communication that really is working well right now.
Darrell, 2 cars that are coming back into the mix are Matt Kenseth and Robbie Gordon. They are 8th and 9th. Steve?
Hey, Mike, as Larry Mack said, Matt Kenseth had to hit pit road on lap 112 to change a flat right rear tire. See Casey Kane go by the 16 of Greg Biffle. That for the lead. Just wanted to mention, Kenseth said he is just saving his equipment for the end of this race. Dick?
A few laps ago, Robbie Gordon keyed his radio and asked crew chief Greg Irwin, how many laps are there left? Realize that there's no clock inside these cars. It's pretty hard to figure out what lap you're on. Irwin told them about 100 laps, plenty of time yet. So they are looking at the lead. They are looking at winning this race. Gordon's car got a little bit tight. We'll have to fix that at the next pit stop.
You know, there was a scoring pylon down here in turn 1, but when the tornado came through here and blew it down, now there's a scoring pylon down in turn 4. Drivers are telling me they liked it better in turn 1 because they could see where they were running, how many laps there was to go in the race. Now it's off 4 and you don't have time to look at it.
Hey, you're a little busy in turn 4.
Right.
Matt?
Mike, on Saturday, I mentioned a story about Matt Kenseth asking his team to keep him abreast of where he is because he uses that pylon that used to be down in turn 1. Well, last night I had a driver come up to me and said, you know, I heard what you said about Kenseth using that pylon. He goes, I thought I was the only one. I used to do the same thing. Now I'm lost, too.
Now I'm lost. Now I know why I'm lost.
And Mike, you've been talking about making it to the end on one more stop. The one thing that these guys would love to do, I'm sure like Greg Biffle in the 16 car, is at least run this thing about another 13 to 15 laps. That would put them in that window where they could make it to the end should we stay green.
Hey guys, I want to send out my heartfelt condolences to my pilot, Jerry Vanderflood. His sister down in New Smyrna Beach, Florida, died this past weekend, and they're down there for the funeral. I just want you to know, Jerry, Carol, all y'all down there, we're thinking about you, praying for you.
Absolutely.
From all of us. And best wishes to Greg Fielden and Lynn Jeffers of our NASCAR on Fox staff up here in the booth, both on demand. Want you to know we're thinking about you and hope you're doing well and want to see you back at the track soon.
You see our leaders just go by Kevin Harvick in the 29 car. Kevin had a car that looked like he was going to be a contender today. Had the tire problem. Kevin right now is in 39th, 11 laps down. But Darrell, you mentioned Kenny Francis, the crew chief, or as Ray Evernham calls him, the team director of Casey Kane 9. He reminds me a lot of Darian Grubb. They have an engineering background. They're very methodical. They're very quiet. You never even know they're around, but I don't think they ever quit thinking about that race car. Kenny Francis was with Jeremy Mayfield when he was running his best a couple of years ago.
That's what it takes, man. I mean, you got to give it 110% of your focus and concentration, driver and team.
Riding with Terry Labonte, the DLP Chevy. He is the last car on the lead lap, running 30th. He led a couple of laps today, and trying to catch up to and battle Michael Waltrip for that 29th spot.
Yeah, we're closing in on the 400-mile mark. We still have 30 cars on the lead lap, and we have only one car that's actually listed as out of the race. Bobby Labonte in the 43 car. Right now, Hermes Sadler in the 00 is behind the wall. But we've got 41 cars out on the racetrack right now.
The driver that will take the biggest hit in the points today is likely Carl Edwards. He's going to drop 4 or 5 spots after having a collision on pit road and the resultant tire troubles. He is 12 laps down in 40th.
And, you know, he couldn't wait to get here. Yeah. Track he dominated last year. Man, here's an opportunity to get going, win a race, and gets in trouble on pit road and has struggled all day long.
And, you know, I think the racetrack is definitely back to where it was before this big rain moved in here. And I think we're really starting to see some comers and goers. Jeff Burton in the 31 car, his car's starting to fade. Tony Stewart in the 20, he's fading. And we're also seeing Jimmy Johnson in the 48 starting to go backwards.
Watch Denny Hamlin a lap ago.
We've seen this car.
11.
We've seen this car dance around a little bit today. Whoa, that's more than a dance right there.
Matt?
Mike has been fighting a loose condition also, so now he has a bad vibration, getting ready to hit pit road, the 11, Denny Hamlin.
Well, I love what he's doing there. You see that? Get that hand out the window. I'm coming in, guys. Cut me some slack. Give me some room.
And he did it all the way on the back stretch. So he's going to hit pit road here at 2:55, 71 laps to go. I know it doesn't matter. He needed to come to pit road, but it would be a stretch making it to the end from here.
Right side tires going on Hamlin. Jeremy Mayfield also in.
Denny Hamlin had a car that pretty much was in the top 10 for most of the first 2/3 of this race.
Quick stop, but since it happens under the green flag, he will go a lap down.
We've seen a lot of good cars have trouble today. But we've seen a lot of good cars not have trouble today, too. So about 50-50.
There's one of them, Casey Kane. In the Ray Evernham Dodge Dealers UAW Dodge, started from the pole, trying to become the first Dodge to win here since 1977. When Richard Petty led 112 laps on the 20th of March to beat David Pearson's Mercury and Cale Yarborough's Chevrolet.
He's carrying the Dodge banner right now because the next car, the next Dodge is Reed Sorensen back in 15th, and then Scott Riggs is back in 20th in the other Evernham Dodge. So he doesn't have a lot of company as far as brands go.
Now, we've talked about Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 8 car, the Budweiser car, quite a bit today. He's up in the 11th position. We mentioned his teammate, Paul Menard, in the 15 car, the yellow car there behind him. Paul, early in the race, didn't have a very good race car. I think they have made that car much better. His Busch Series team looks after this car, and now he has worked his way up there in the 12th position. Remember, Paul missed the Daytona 500, his first start of the year.
Third place, Jeff Gordon trying to hold off Mark Martin. Last lap, Martin was 0.2 quicker than the 4-time champion.
Kind of a Mark Martin day, kind of day. Take care of your stuff, lay back, quietly be in the race, and then all of a sudden, there you are. That's spirits, man. Can't beat that spirits.
But for the man that came in here 5th in points, it would be a good points day for him if he can maintain.
.66 to go.
Will already hit his box. An air pressure adjustment on the left side. Tires for Greg Biffle needed to turn better. Meanwhile, Mark Martin says the car was getting a little too tight near the end of that run. Questionable whether they make it on fuel from here on out. Steve.
Matt, no adjustments on the 17 for Matt Kenseth. He's been getting faster by going slower through the corners. Dick Berggren.
Casey Kane won the pole, so he had his first pick of pits. He has picked the best pit. It's the one furthest down pit road. He's gone, and he will go out with the lead.
Tell you what, it was close, though, with Mark Martin in that 6 car. Casey just barely beats him out there. You see Matt Kenseth, the 17 car, gains 2 spots, as well as Jeff Burton in the 31.
Remember our final practice show on FX on Saturday when one of our pit reporters walked up to Mark Martin and said, "How's your car?" And Mark thought about it for a second and he said, "Spectacular."
And when Mark Martin says that, it probably is.
Kane wins the race off pit road. Martin second. Kenseth, Biffle, and Jeff Gordon. Terry Labonte gets the free pass on this caution flag.
Yeah.
Kane, Mark Martin, Matt Kenseth, Greg Biffle, Jeff Gordon, a Dodge, 3 Fords, and then a dozen Chevrolets.
Well, I tell you, one of those Fords is that one that's in second spot right there, that 6 car of Mark Martin. It's been a Mark Martin kind of day, as well as Matt Kenseth. Those guys know how to run these 500 milers.
Yeah, we're sitting there with 3 Roush cars, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th right now.
Jeff Green trying to get a lap back and get back on the lead lap.
He's got a pony good enough to do it. He's got a fast race car. He just unfortunately had that problem, had to pit.
Greg Biffle in the 16 car moved to the high side last time through 3 and 4. Tried to get that run on the high side against his teammate Matt Kenseth in the 17. Jeff Gordon in the 24. He yanks it to the bottom.
Well, they're all Supermen on new tires, aren't they? You see Robbie Gordon right side of your screen. Had a good pit stop. Hanging on right there in the top 10, Dick.
Yeah, I also want to point out that John Slusher, who had the incident on pit road, hit by an automobile, went off to the care center. They released him. Guess where he went when they released him, Mike? Yep,
home?
He's back on pit road. He's in Robbie Gordon's pit.
Wow. Good for him.
Well, you know what? Robbie Gordon's crew has probably worked harder the last 15 months than any team on pit road. You better believe I want to go up there and see this kind of performance by this 7 car.
Jimmy Johnson drops a spot to Dale Earnhardt Jr. That's 9th and 10th. Johnson bidding to become the 3rd driver in NASCAR history to win 3 of the season's first 4 races. He's got his work cut out for him. In 1954, Herb Thomas got his 3rd win in Atlanta, but it was a 1-mile dirt track then. And in 1992, Bill Elliott finished out in the top 25 at Daytona and then swept the next 4 races driving for Junior Johnson.
Well, I know Jimmy Johnson's teammate Kyle Busch in that 5 car last time off turn 2 just about completely ran out of racetrack. He was rubbing the wall all the way off the corner. See Dale Earnhardt Jr. in that 8 car there, moving to the high side, but Greg Biffle, he just keeps picking them up and mowing them down.
Looked like he came out of turn 2, shot out of a slingshot.
Mark Martin just pulled up and let him go. That's his typical Mark. You're faster than I am. Have at it.
Because if I race you, the guys behind us are going to catch us.
And Mark's so good at getting out of the way in the right places. Doesn't hurt him, doesn't hurt you.
There's our point leader, Johnson, in 10th place, Matt.
Jimmy's been fighting a loose condition the previous stop. They made a track bar adjustment, trying to tighten him up. Didn't help. Loose all the way around. Made a wedge and air pressure on this last stop. 2 cars up. Tony Stewart, he wishes he was free. Car way too tight. They went up on the track bar.
Kyle Busch, presently 11th, just in front of Paul Menard, continues to flirt with the boundaries of this racetrack.
Got up real high on exit of turn 2. Car just kept sliding up on him. You can see he just barely skimmed it 2 or 3 times.
Brush. He just brushed it.
Robbie Gordon goes after and takes the spot from no relation Jeff Gordon, 6th place.
I tell you, that 7 car has got to be fun to drive. He just sets them up and passes them, and the car just is, it's just awesome looking.
And turn 2 is where he gets that rocket shot every time.
Every time. Gets up there on the high side, gets that old DEI motor wound up, and away he goes.
That's one of those deals right there, Larry, where you say, how much horsepower does this motor got anyway? It's got 820 when you hold it wide open.
There you go. But you are wide open on the mat around this place a lot.
Quite a bit.
Paul Menard, 12th place. Trying to move up. Busch Series regular, running a limited schedule of Cup races for Dale Earnhardt Inc. And he's had a good day. But the first half of the race, he spent in the top lane. The second half of the race, he's been in the bottom lane in the corners.
Yeah, well, you just kind of got to go where your car will, where your car takes you. If it's got to run high to make it go fast, that's what you do. You get it adjusted where you run low, then you can run low.
Steve.
Mike, the impressive thing about this young driver, Paul Menard, is they've made very few adjustments to his Chevrolet today. He's done it, as you guys have said, by moving around on the racetrack. Very little mechanical adjustments to that car.
And Steve, right behind Paul Menard, we've got 3 of our Rookie of the Year candidates. We've got J.J. Yaley in the 18 car. And then right behind him in that white and green car, Reed Sorensen, who had the situation on pit road. But the most impressive recovery behind Reed Sorensen is Rookie of the Year Clint Boyer in 07 car. 50 laps ago, he spun out over in turn 2, back up in the top 15. What a rookie group we've got this year.
It's an incredible class of drivers with championship experience, but only one will be Ray Bestis Rookie of the Year.
I think Jeff Gordon's got his hands full here, Larry. Tony Stewart got back around him and took off, and now Dale Jr. is up there working on him pretty good. I don't know if there's something wrong or if the car just is off that much, but he's got his hands full. See Junior close up on him coming down the back, and here's Jimmy coming back on him too. So looks like the 24 is not exactly like he'd like for it to be right now.
Tell you what, though, Dale Earnhardt Jr. in that 8 car, he pretty much can take it anywhere he wants. He takes it to the bottom here in 3 and 4. He'll just turn under Jeff Gordon in 24. That's a sign of a car that's driving good right there.
Well, and it's also Junior knows that there's something wrong with the 24, like maybe he's loose. So if I get up under him real good, he'll probably get out of my way. Dick, what are they saying down there, bud?
Well, they're saying Jeff Gordon's car is just plain too loose.
What we said, it's what it looked like. Junior got under him and just kind of walked him up the racetrack and drove right by him.
Dale Jr. moves to 8th, and that equals his best finishing position of this young season. 8th at Daytona, 11th at California, and 27th in Las Vegas.
If you remember last year here, Dale Jr. had a great run here last fall. Led about 120 some laps. It was the best race he had pretty much all the latter half of last year.
4th place here, Mark Martin, Jeff Burton, Ford and Chevy. Former teammates.
Well, these guys, they were kind of racing each other. You can see that yellow hood getting closer and closer to them. We've been talking about him now almost this entire race because he's deserved being talked about. Robbie Gordon in that 7 car right behind these guys.
Burton marginally quicker than Martin, decides not to test it this time.
And right now, let me tell you, we've been running this is a long race. Again, to talk about 500 miles, how long you're in the car. This is when it takes a lot of resolve right now, buddy, to stay focused. Robbie Gordon, for instance, he's got a car that could win this race. Keep your emotions under control and keep your focus.
And the biggest thing is we know pretty much everyone can make it to the end. If we don't have a caution, the old theory, you got what you got, you better make use of it now.
Robbie Gordon has the most varied racing resume of any driver here. He's been a champion of off-road racing. He has raced Indy cars. He has been a road racing champion for Jack Roush, SCCA and IMSA, and 24-hour experience. And he's come up through the NASCAR ranks of the Busch Series and Nextel Cup.
And a neat guy.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nobody out there that's more fun to hang out with than Robbie Gordon is.
Matt Kenseth has caught the man who early in this race didn't look as if he could be caught. Greg Biffle. Steve.
Well, my crew chief, Robbie Reiser, has just told Matt Kenseth, he said, if this thing stays green, we're going to be real tight on gas. Help us out here.
And for the viewers that maybe slid out of work a little earlier watching our broadcast here, the reason we keep talking about Matt Kenseth in the 17 car and Robbie Gordon in the 7 is back on about lap 112 and 116. These guys had cars running at the front. They had tire problems almost at the same time. The caution came out and burned them. They got their lap back the hard way. They drove by the leader, got a caution. Now both of them are up here in the top 6.
And closing.
Teammates battling for 9th place.
I don't think that's exactly what they had in mind there just a little while ago, because both those cars looked like they were potential winners.
Last time a cup race was run here on a Monday, Jeff Gordon won it, October 2003.
He's got a little work to do right now because with 40 laps to go, he's about 6.5 seconds behind our leader, Casey Kane, in that 9 car. When you look at Casey Kane in the 9 car, he comes in here 3rd in the points. 1 year ago, He was 38th in the points. What a difference a year has made for this group right here. But you know, the thing he said earlier in the week, he said, the difference for me is I've got a better understanding of the car, but mainly the car's limits. Stay within the limits of that car and let the crew make it better. I can't make a big difference up.
And I think the other thing, too, is he's learned how to run long races. These guys come in from sprint cars and everywhere where they run 30-lap features, 100-lap features, they think they got to race hard every lap. You don't. You got to save a little something for the end.
Third and fourth, Biffle and Martin. 1 3/4 seconds off the lead, but they are among the fastest cars on the racetrack with 38 to go.
I learned more about winning races in stock cars and then by running track. I ran track in high school. I ran the half mile. If you burned yourself out in the first half of the race, they'd all blow by you at the end of the race. So I learned to save a little something, have a little kick. And I always used that when I came into stock car racing. Have a little kick.
Mark Martin. Oh, Biffle holds him off.
Yeah, Biffle got the run in the 16 car on the high side off turn 2, and Mark was not able to complete the pass in the 6. But Biffle got way up high, had to get out of the throttle, and Mark Martin just drives by him there in 3 and 4.
I don't know. That looked like the problem in the 16 car. That car just took off. I believe could very well be a tire problem. We'll see.
I'll show you that again.
You just watch him and see it, how it just kind of takes off right there, and that was unexpected. That makes me wonder if there's not something going on.
But Darrell, we've been talking about it all week. You're running about 170 miles per hour off the throttle in the middle of the corner, and this racetrack is almost like a washboard. It's very bumpy.
Yeah, he could have just gotten it in there a little too hard, but that would worry me.
While he had that problem, you see Mark Martin, the 6s, drove away from him. Now he's got his hands full of Jeff Burton, the 31, as well as Robbie Gordon in that 7. And right now, Biffle is in the 4th spot.
And Biffle needs a good finish. He had horrible finishes to start the year. 31st at Daytona, 42nd at California, got an 8th at Las Vegas, so he's 25th in points coming in here. Last year, he was 2nd in points coming to Atlanta.
There's something wrong with that 16 car.
But that 7 car, he's going to get both of them at one whack through turn 1 and 2. Robbie Gordon in the 7 gets that run.
Robbie Gordon's last top 10 finish here at Atlanta in 10 starts. Well, he hasn't had one. 14th in his first race here has been his previous best.
Darrell, did you see how deep he drove that thing into turn 3? And the car stuck. It wasn't like it washed up the racetrack.
Yeah, that's the whole thing about it. I mean, he is driving it hard and it's staying with him.
The last top 5 for Robbie Gordon on an oval track. Talladega, April 2 years ago. He finished 5th.
Just don't use it all up. I hope he's saved a little something for the end here.
.33 to go, and Casey Kane, in 4 previous starts here, had only led once for 4 laps. He has 3 top 5 finishes here. Got taken out in a wreck last October, but he has a 3rd and 2 5ths. Trying to improve on that today, Dick.
Well, Ray Evernham owns Kane's car, and Evernham has a deserved reputation as an innovator. Now, everybody's got a camera over the top of pit road so they can record pit stops. Casey Kane's has 3, 1, 2, 3 separate cameras, and after every pit stop they replay the view from all 3 cameras. That's something I haven't seen anybody else have here, and they do it on a big screen television with shots that we have of the cars coming down pit road. And oh, by the way, there's also a voice recorder here behind pit road, and that voice recorder turns on every time anybody says anything, either to Kane or when Kane says something to anybody else. These guys are technologically ahead.
Thanks, Dick. Robbie Gordon moves past Greg Biffle. You know, you like that, Darrell. We get a lot of data. We get stacks of data during the week to analyze for the next race. But that's not when you need it. You need it now while you still have time to make the improvements on pit road or improve that race car and work on this race, not next race.
I like that recording all the conversations, too. You can go back and listen to those and see if anybody made a mistake in the process.
A flat tire for Matt Kenseth. A green flag pit stop, and while we were away, Robbie Gordon moved into third. Let's go to Kenseth's pit. Steve.
And Mike, Robbie Reiser just bounced off the pit box. They're looking over the tires right now. Lap 300, Matt Kenseth gave up the second position. He said, I'm coming. I've got a tire problem. And they're looking at the tires right now.
So that's 2 problems today he has had with tires running in the top 5 both times.
Tony Stewart climbing back up the ladder. He's going to go past Greg Biffle and move into 6th.
And Greg Biffle, I think in the 16, he's looking for one of 2 things, either a caution or the end of this race, because he has his hands full right now.
Yeah, once that car did that little D-do down in 3 and 4 there, that car's been a handful for him ever since. So either he's used up his tires or something's wrong. I was afraid he had a serious problem.
Darrell, when that happens and there's nothing on the racetrack and the tire's not flat, how do you trust the car after that?
Well, you got to adjust a little bit. You kind of give yourself a little insurance. You let off a little early just in case.
Tell you what, Mark Martin in his 6 car, he's been reeling this 9 car, Casey Kane, who's our leader right now. And Casey Kane in the 9 in pretty heavy lap traffic right now. Look at Mark Martin right on the bottom of the racetrack where he's been this entire race, 21 laps to go.
Casey Kane with an 11th at Daytona, 4th place finishes at both California and Las Vegas. 3rd in points, had only led 1 lap before today. Today, Casey Kane has been out front for 64 laps. Biffle's led the most. But the question will be who can lead that last lap. Matt?
Mike, on that restart, when Darrell made note, when Mark dropped back to 4th, Pat Trison came on the radio and asked him if the car was okay. He said, just too tight. He said, just hang in there, because it'll be like it was in the last run, where you'll be great near the end of the run. Right now, Mark is working all over the back of the 9 of Kane.
Yes, he is. He is all over the back of it.
I love a race car that's just a little too tight. That's a comfortable car to drive.
Not pushing the front wheels, but just a little tug on that steering wheel.
So I can turn to the left when I want to.
What do you call it? Snug?
Snug. Comfortable.
Now on the right-hand side of the screen, Matt Kenseth in the 17, that's fresh tires versus about 40-lap tires like on these other guys. But right now, Kenseth is 1 lap down back in 29th.
I'll tell you one thing. Watch Junior watch Jeff Burton loose here. He gets up under. Excuse me.
4th place for Junior.
We've seen Junior do that a couple of times a day to people to get them up out of the way.
Trying to score his best finish of the season. He was 8th at Daytona. Jeff Gordon, Tony Stewart side by side. Now Gordon's going to try to retake 6th place from Stewart.
This guy's been going at it for quite a while here. They've pretty much driven off and left Greg Biffle in the 16 car. In fact, Biffle is being caught by Jimmy Johnson in the 48 car. This would be a battle for 8th. Biffle continues to slide backwards as we've got 18 laps to go.
7-car pit road.
Oh boy. Robbie Gordon surrenders 3rd place in the Harris Chevy. Within 20 laps of the finish.
And you know what is ironic about this? The 2 cars that had tire problems early in the race on the green that had top 5 cars, Matt Kenseth and Robbie Gordon. Now Dick Berggren, both of them looks like they've had problems again.
Well, Robbie Gordon's problem is that he had a vibration, and they were hoping upon hope that somehow or another there would be a debris caution after that car impacted the wall. And they were just hollering back and forth on the radio, trying to decide whether they should stick it out or not. The debris caution didn't happen. They had to pit, change tires, and maybe lost it all.
Well, he's lost a lap, Dick, and that spoils a tremendous run. And Robbie Gordon is too fast coming in the pits to add insult to injury. Pass-through penalty will cost him another lap on the racetrack.
And what that means, the pass-through, they have to come on the pit road, get to the 45 miles per hour, go all the way down the length of pit road. He doesn't have to stop in his pit box, but he will definitely lose another additional lap.
Yeah, and the worst thing about it is now you're under the scrutiny all the way down through there. You better not even be close to over the speed.
And it's all timed electronically. There's no judgment call involved anymore. How about Kyle Petty today? Closing in on what could be a top 10 finish for Petty Enterprises. Kyle is 12th. The National Tire and Battery Dodge. Bobby Labonte led 13 laps early, Kyle's teammate, but was quickly out of the race with engine failure. Kyle's done a good job.
It's Paul Menard in the 15 car. We've been talking about him earlier, just about to drive by the outside of Greg Biffle in the 16 car. This will move Paul up into the 8th position.
He's a regular in the Busch Series, previously competed in the Infinity Pro Series, and has a couple of road course starts. But would you believe this is Menard's first Cup race on an oval track, let alone a super speedway?
Well, I know I've said this many times, and Larry has too, that I feel like he's probably one of the most improved drivers in the Busch Series since the middle of last year. And he's carrying it over right here into the Cup race today. What a great performance by him and that team.
Casey Kane trying to hold off Mark Martin. Kane, the pole sitter. The spring Atlanta race has not been won from the pole since 1979 when Buddy Baker did it. Here's Martin trying to take the lead on the bottom.
Now remember the truck race here on Friday night. Mark had his hands full with the Todd Bodine, and they raced hard about like that off turn 2 over there. Sideways, slideways, and every other way.
But now Matt Kenseth in the 17 car, remember he has those fresh tires. He's trying his best to get back up there and get back on the lead lap with those fresh tires.
Matt.
Mike, the last time a Dodge won here, you documented March 20th, 1977. The crew chief that day for Richard Petty, the legendary Dale Inman, 8 championships as a crew chief. Here on pit road, one thing that Kyle Petty did when he started to take over more and more responsibility was get Dale back involved at Petty Enterprises. It's one of the changes. A great day going for Kyle Petty, running in the 12th position.
Inman was quite the character. You didn't mess with Richard, because if you did, you had to mess with Dale too.
That was 29 years ago today. Richard Petty won that race, and it paid $17,000 to win.
As a matter of fact, every time I'd get in trouble with Richard, I'd go looking for Dale first, because Dale would hurt you.
We're starting to see a lot of cars have to hit pit road here, not because of fuel, but I think some tire issues are starting to show up. Clint Boyer in the 07 car, who'd been running in the top 15, he had to come to pit road. Let's update you on Dale Earnhardt Jr., his situation. I think with 10 laps to go, he's 7 seconds behind Mark Martin. He's 4 seconds in front of Jeff Gordon in the 24. You know what he just needs to do? Stay there, be patient. A top 3 finish would be pretty good for him. And if one of those guys up front have problems, that would improve.
31 cars off the pace.
Jeff Burton was 5th, and he's coming to pit road. Missed it this time, I believe.
And you know, I mentioned Clint Boyer maybe had a problem. If Jeff Burton, indeed, in the 31 car, Steve, needs to pit, this may be scheduled stops because they could not make it to the end on fuel.
I think it is.
For Burton, no, he's got a bad vibration, guys. He's just been debating with crew chief Scott Miller whether to try to limp it home and stay up in the top 10 if they can. They've given up a top 5 spot, but he's been complaining about a vibration, a bad one for 10 laps.
Casey Kane putting some distance on Mark Martin now. A couple of lap cars separating him.
7 to go. And Casey has fairly clean racetrack in front of him. The cars that are in front of him are kind of staggered out quite a bit up there.
Looks like Mark made a run on Casey down there, got up alongside of him, and then all of a sudden Casey said, whoa, I better get going.
And Bill Lester's going to achieve his goal of finishing this race in his first Nextel Cup start, as Jeff Burton finally comes to pit road. And as we mentioned, he gave up a top 5 spot to come in the pits. Steve?
And Jeff Burton just said it, Mike. He said, guys, I tried to ride it out, but it's just shaking too bad. I don't want to tear up this race car. So just a splash, 2 tires.
We may see a lot of that in these last 6 laps. Dale Jarrett.
There's a guy that has survived the day right now here as we've got 6 laps to go. Dale Jarrett in the 88 car. He just moved by Greg Biffle in the 16. That moved Dale up into the 8th position.
Well, let me tell you, there are some guys out there right now that are hanging on for dear life. I just saw Reed Sorensen come off turn 4. I could see the numbers on the right side of the car.
And with that happening, Kyle Petty in the 45 car just drove by him. That puts Kyle up in the top 10. 5 to go.
And with these problems, Jeff Gordon advances to 4th, Tony Stewart to 5th, Jimmy Johnson to 6th. None of them had really great race cars all day, but they're all going to end up with great finishes.
See Robbie Gordon there in the 7 car, has fresh tires, and he just drives by Mark Martin in the 6 car. But right now, Robbie Gordon back in the 30th position, 3 laps down.
You just watch these. Every one of these guys here, Larry, is just sliding all over the place, particularly off turn 4.
There's Ken Schrader, Little Debbie's Ford. He's a lap off at 25th. And there's Stewart and Jimmy Johnson.
Well, Darrell, if we make it 4 more laps, it'll be the longest green run we've had all day long if we make it 4 more laps to the end of the race.
I don't think we're going to make it. I'm seeing cars sideways slamming into each other all over the racetrack.
Sideways and slideways.
You got it. No grip.
Kyle Petty, you mentioned, into the top 10. His best finish of the season, 25th at California.
And right behind him, rookie Reed Sorensen, 11th place. Good run for him.
Kyle hadn't had a top 10 here in Atlanta in 9 years. Casey Kane's only win to date, Richmond last May. Trying to score the 8th victory for Evernham Motorsports and be the first pole winner to win at Atlanta since Buddy Baker in 1979.
Got that chemistry going, man. I tell you, I like what they're doing right now. The car looks good. Crew chief looks good. Everything's going good. Ray's got them tuned up.
Kyle Petty up to 9th as he passes Greg Biffle.
Yeah, I believe Greg Biffle's going to have a tough time hanging on to a top 10 finish here. This is Kyle's 51st Atlanta start here today. White flag, Casey Kane, 1.5 miles to go.
There's a bunch of guys that can't wait for this last lap to get over with. I can tell you that.
"29 years to the day since a Dodge has gone to victory lane in Atlanta when Richard Petty held off David Pearson and Cale Yarborough to win it. Casey Kane scores the 2nd win of his career in the Golden Corral 500. Mark Martin 2nd. Dale Jr. 3rd.
It's a battle for 5th right here. Jeff Gordon in the 24, Tony Stewart in the 20. And Jimmy Johnson back there in the 48. Jeff Gordon will make it back to the line to finish 4th.
Biffle's out of gas. He's coming across coast and out of gas.
And will fall to 16th in the final rundown. Great run for Paul Menard, who finishes 7th today, and Kyle Petty 8th. The leading rookie of the race, Reed Sorensen, who comes home 10th.
Darrell, as I watched Casey Kane just about put that Intrepid a lap down there at the end, looked like to me science project complete. Get to work on his chart.
That's what I say. That's one thing I give Ray credit for. He stuck with what he had. Let those other boys test. You know, I like to stay about 6 months behind on my R&D.
No, it hasn't changed much in 29 years. The winning average speed. Richard Petty won in 77 at 144 mile an hour average. 143.7 today for Casey Kane. Corral 500, where Casey Kane has scored Dodge's first win since 1977 at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Matt Yoakum's in victory lane to help Kane celebrate his 2nd career victory.
29 years ago today, it was Dayglow Orange and Petty Blue. Today, it's Evernham Red. Congratulations, Case. It's been a while since May of last year.
Oh, man, this is unbelievable. These guys did such a great job all day long. And, man, Kenny Francis and all the pit stop, everything is perfect. I hope everybody at the shop, at Evernham Motorsports Engine Shop, everybody that works up at the shop in Statesville is watching this, because this is... I mean, to win at Atlanta, one of my favorite racetracks, is so cool. And for Dodge and all the Dodge dealers out there, Stanley Tools, Mac Tools, everybody, Bosch, what else, Siemens, Valvoline, Hellman's.
You wouldn't have been born for 3 years since the last time Dodge won here. And Ray has done so much hard work has gone into trying to find the right chemistry for you. It's Kenny Francis and Mike Shiplet the right chemistry for you now?
Oh man, it's been working so far. You know, we're still very early in the season, but those guys are doing an unbelievable job. And you know, we have momentum. We've had momentum all weekend long. And I just can't believe we won this big of a trophy. To win it at Atlanta is unbelievable. We sat on the pole, just a great week, and run second in the Busch car. So it's all these guys here and everybody back at the shop in Statesville. They've done a great job.
Great run from the pole. Casey Kane in victory lane. Mike.
Thanks, Matt. Mark Martin second, Dale Jr., Jeff Gordon, Tony Stewart, the top 5, Jimmy Johnson, Paul Menard, Kyle Petty, Dale Jarrett, and rookie Reed Sorensen, the top 10. For those of you who've been watching on the Fox affiliates, we will see you this coming weekend at Bristol, Tennessee. For those of you watching on FX, our coverage will continue after this.